All right. And we are live. The last word with Lord Cognito and Ebontis, fresh on that Friday morning campfire. Nice little, setup going on today. Some good guests. What's going on, man? First, E, how are you doing, sir? What's going on with you?
A little short on sleep as I stayed up late for Returnal. And then I had to stay up another hour to start Returnal, thanks to PS5 saying, hey, it's going to be ready at 10, 11. I'm sorry, I just messed up. So that was fun.
Mhm.
Returnal was fantastic. I got one run in about 90 minutes. I'm going to be streaming that later. Really, really cool so far. Love what it's doing. Yeah, cannot wait to dive into that. But other games aside, we also have had some spicy TWABs recently. We got a lot of information, and we've got an excellent guest to talk
Yes.
about all of this Destiny information about. So back to you, sir. Let's do this as we only do.
Let's bring him in. All right. Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 147. And it's a glorious Friday. We're back in front of the campfire for some more looter-shooter discussion. I'm extremely excited about our special guest, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord whose passion for the Destiny franchise and hilarious swear jar interactions with his community make you easily flock to the chaperone-wielding Void Hunter. Introducing the creative host of the Pijinnn Twitch and Pijinnn 88 YouTube channel, the Lord of Guitar Covers, most infectious laugh in PvP, and the only man to survive brain freeze while eating a whole cornetto on stream. Live from Scotland and making his debut at the campfire of The Last Word, my man, Lord Pijinnn. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning and good afternoon to anyone that's tuning in from my side of the pond. That is, I'm not gonna lie, that is the best introduction I've ever had. Like, the ice cream thing got me, by the way. Oh man, gone fishing.
Salute to you, brother, because when I saw it, I was howling laughter.
I am never doing that again, man. That was potentially the most fleet of the moment worst decision I've ever made. Dude, it's good to be here. Thanks for having us in. I respect how early you guys are up to get the podcast going. I'm not a morning person, so it's good to know that I got at least the plus 5 hours to have a snooze and do what I had to do. So yeah, it's good to be here.
No doubt.
Nice.
Pleasure to have you, man. We got some couple questions for the man. I know it's limited time, but we got some questions, right? I'll let you jump in.
Just want to say, I know, you're going through university and stuff like that right now, but your gaming history goes back fairly far. So, how has it been? Who got you into gaming, and just what are some highlights along the way of your kind of gaming history?
Yeah, so I mind talking about this briefly. The first game I ever played was Sonic the Hedgehog on a Sega Mega Drive system. There's an old family photo of me sitting up at a TV, controller in hand. Sonic's on the telly. You can see the Mega Drive with the cartridge out,
Nice.
sticking out, and then I'm sitting there playing it. So that was kind of my first dabbling in games. My dad, he's always worked in IT or jobs, so he was always kind of up to speed with that sort of thing. And he always went to get the latest consoles. So it was the Sega Mega Drive, it was the Sega Saturn.
Oh, Sega household. I like it.
It was Sega. It was Sega, man. Nintendo came later. If we're talking highlights, so I think it went when I got an N64 and then a PlayStation. That stuff was the game changers growing up. I remember coming home from school playing PlayStation constantly.
Oh. Now I got to stop you for a second there, because you do the Mega Drive stuff is classic. That is
you're in his Sega bag right now.
You're touching the heart and the soul with that one, right? So salute to you on that. I wonder also, Sega kid all day. Oh yeah, all day. And Mega Drive was huge.
I had that as a ringtone, by the way.
Stop.
Dude, if I had a text tone and it was the Sega fanfare, it had to be done. I was just pure geeky growing up.
I respect the Sega love hardcore. You also got the PlayStation 1 love. There's a specific game though that I saw that I gotta ask you that really touched me, because not a lot of people talk about this in the PlayStation 1. Suikoden.
Suikoden, yes.
Brother, talk to me real quick.
More specifically, Suikoden 2. So I had a lot of relatives who were into their RPGs. They were older relatives, and Suikoden was one of the first games that I watched them play on their PlayStations, because family time was going around each other's houses and either staying the night or just hanging out after dinner, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And we would all gather around the TV. Now, this is one of those, like, I don't know, cultural things, but in the like family houses in Scotland, like there was the big TV, which was in the living area.
Oh, I know
as
you're
opposed
going.
to
Oh, yeah.
you know where we're going.
And
So
like the kids' crap TV in the corner.
kids at TV, right? But we had this. We used to visit my grandparents' house on the weekly, and they just let us use the big TV.
Oh, that was
Oh,
a
man.
privilege.
That
Oh.
was it. So after dinner, we're all crowded round watching like the eldest cousin playing PlayStation games or whatever console and thing was relevant. And Suikoden was one of the first games that stood out to me because I was sitting there reading all the story, getting involved in everything that was going on, and eventually that became me going to my parents. Can I get that Suikoden game? And they like it was hit or miss. I like just asking for a video game, but I was lucky enough that my parents like picked it up at one point, have like visit like the shopping centres, and that's where it started. Yeah, RPGs, Suikoden.
That's awesome.
I always just remember like I had no idea what was going on. By the way, I just loved playing it. I was like, "This is it. I'm that person now." I think it's because you got to name your characters and stuff. Like I loved doing that. That was like a big thing. So you'd name them after. You would name them after everybody in the family and stuff. So that was like a big selling point
That's
for
cool.
RPGs.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
But I remember at that point in time, the trailers were out for Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation.
That's
And
big. Yeah.
like that week, I'd see a trailer for Final Fantasy VII. I'm like, oh, okay. And then by the time I went to my grandparents that weekend, the eldest cousin had Final Fantasy VII and was sitting playing it. And we were just sitting there watching like the Mako reactor sequence, just pure, like, I'm not even kidding, sitting cross-legged on the floor.
Indian style.
Oh yeah,
Yep,
like
yep.
this far from the TV. Like, all right.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh man, tremendous.
So you got like N64. I know you played GoldenEye. You got Final Fantasies. So this like witch's brew of RPG shooters. And then all of a sudden, you know, you get the perfect one that comes out. You get Destiny. Like how do you go from all of that? You skip Halo though, the whole thing,
right? Okay.
And then get to Destiny.
So that like didn't quite skip Halo. So in the sense of what consoles I had growing up, I never owned an Xbox till way late in the game. Right. So my only experience with playing Halo was going to friends' houses. So like we'd be a night out in the town, and then I'd wake up the next day crashing at a friend's place. The Xbox was sitting there. They were still passed out in the bedroom. I'm like, I'm going to play Halo because I don't get a chance. And they would come in and they'd see me sitting playing Halo, and to them there was no novelty because they played it to the death. I'm sitting there going, I love this game. So I always was looking for like a Halo-esque shooter, but for PlayStation, and PlayStation 3, 4 at the time. And by chance, I was in my local game shop, and there was like a pre-owned section. So I don't know if they do that stateside, like you get discount games because it's been handed back in. Pre-owned. Definitely. You got your GameStops and that. So I picked up at the same time. I picked Bloodborne from Software's game
right here. That's that's my jam.
I know you've been playing those games, those adventure games, and I picked up Destiny 1 at that time without even realizing. I just looked at it, I was like, right, cool. Took them home. I actually jammed Destiny 1 in first, and it was at the time before I knew it was in its second year, like year 2.5.
Okay.
So I had a massive update to do, so I couldn't play it. So I was like, right, cool. So I put on Bloodborne. I was like, right, cool. And I'd never played a Souls game or a From Software game.
I started with that too, actually. That was my first one.
Oh, it was your first Souls game?
Bloodborne? Yeah. Yep. So I didn't know about the brutal difficulty curve that these games dish out to you. And I pretty much played it, and I was like, no, I canned it. I couldn't stand it, dying constantly. And I was like, right, cool. So the next day comes. I was on a holiday at the time because that's what I did. I started my holidays like, I'll go buy some new games to play while I'm off this week or whatever. So the next day, Destiny 1 had installed its update, and I pushed play on it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even kidding. Literally, the moment I fired the first gun, that tactile feedback on the controller that just imitated Halo, it was just familiar. And then seeing damage numbers on the screen, everything just went, whew. I was just sitting there, I was like,
yep, that's it. It all clicked.
It all clicked. Like, obviously, the segue earlier was Suikoden. I played all the Final Fantasy games. I love RPGs in that sense. But the other thing I missed actually was I was a big Call of Duty player. I played that with friends on PlayStation 3. Modern Warfare 2 was a game changer.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, I mean
Played
that was
online.
the one. Yeah,
I was trash at it, man. I mean, still trash to this day.
probably
I
me
loved it.
too.
I loved it. No, there you go then.
Kill streaks
I
were
love
probably like if I got 5, I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
People out
5
here with
was a
like
big
25 nukes, and I'm like, that's not me. I'm not doing that.
Tactical
So.
nuke.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that was one of the games as well in a more current sense before Destiny. So I had that feel for like more modernized first person shooters like Call of Duty.
Nice.
And then I found Destiny that day, the same way I just told you. So yeah, the rest was history. I honestly couldn't tell you. I just lived and breathed it after that.
Is there anything that's pulled you away from Destiny? Like any cool experiences? Like I know we've touched Outrider, stuff like that. Any big ones that pulled you in and be like, damn, this was really good and still sticks out in the course of like Destiny's, like obviously like we live and breathe this thing, but is there anything in that 7 years that's been like, yeah, that was still a good thing to step away for? Any big ones like that?
Oh yeah. I've been a big fan of like God of War. I remember buying I remember getting God of War and going to play that campaign. That was right during Warmind, if I remember right. And Warmind.
possible.
No,
Yeah.
sorry. I think it was during
2018?
Curse of Osiris.
Okay.
And I picked up God of War.
Away, you were fine.
It was exactly what it was.
That was a good time to take
It was a great
Yeah,
filler.
that's when we started our podcast because
That's when
we're
we
weird.
started, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice. There you go then. So I played God of War. I play a lot of single player games offline. I've recently started getting a lot more Metroidvania stuff. Big fan of the Hollow Knight series. Well, say the series.
Have you played Ori?
I'm playing Ori right now, dude.
I just finished the second one, dude. I just did 1 and 2. Oh.
Two's night and day, man.
Have you cried between any of those games yet? Have they hit you like?
I've had a lump in my throat, definitely, man.
Oh, dude, I was on stream and I had to shut the camera off because I'm just sitting there like, dude, it got me like, oh man,
it gets quite emotional for sure.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
I played Ori. I had that. I bought that on Steam actually, but the second Ori, in fact, both of them are on the Xbox Games Pass. So, I went back, completed Ori. And then I was like, right, I'll play Ori. This is the second one. So I'm playing that just now. One of the things I like to do is like play in my Discord off on my off days from streaming. And that gives people a chance to come in, hang out, enjoy an adventure story, that sort of thing.
Nice.
Other than that, recently I've been playing some Apex. Big fan. I like the rush of just getting in, doing some PvP, win or lose. It's a lot of fun. Like just been in a game mode.
Are you excited for arenas?
Yeah, I'm pumped. I think definitely going to try that on launch. I mean, it's good that we get a week's grace before the next Destiny season, so that'll be something to do.
Just a little bit of time, but yeah, May is actually somehow stacked. So
I'm pretty sure there's a conspiracy. They all know each other's major releases.
Well, because we got Returnal, we've got Resident Evil, Destiny, Biomutant, and now Arenas is in there too. I'm like, can we space this out, please? It's like you're in college or university for you, and you're just like, hey, you guys need this all on the same day? Cool, perfect timing, thank you. Like same thing. So
it's always the same, man.
It's always something, man. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about, real quickly, content creation as far as like, I think one of the, first of all, you're hilarious. So I got to salute you on that. Like, very entertaining, super funny. I think the funniest thing I saw, you had, you were doing like the chat goes like no swearing for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. Yeah.
So tell me about that. And that's it. And I think that you had like a situation with Google and I was dying, bro. It was so funny. You were trying to say it, and then you broke the protocol and you swore.
My face is going red here. Right, so one of my favorite things on Twitch, one of the tools they give you is the channel point redemptions. And you can have a lot of fun with them. So I recently moved back home. I was in a flat in Glasgow city centre, but I had to move out due to circumstances, but couldn't move anywhere else. So I'm back at my parents just now, and my mum is always telling me to stop swearing. Now, I asked the gents here if what's the etiquette on swearing on the podcast. I was like, I'll do my best.
At this point, you're
doing
good.
good.
Here.
You're doing good.
You have a swear
I'm doing
button.
it
That's
so far-
amazing.
so far.
Yes, he got a swear button. And Bob be on stream telling him about swearing, and he presses the button. It's hilarious. Continue.
Yeah. So, one evening we're sitting chilling out, and my mum came into the room, and she's like, blah blah blah. I was like, blah blah blah. I was like, come say hi. And then she's like, stop your swearing. And I was just like, hi, okay, I'll try. And then I ended up almost swearing straight away there. And then I was like, I was like, I've got the button. I was like that. So that's where that started. And I thought, do you know what? We'll do a redemption for my Q&A to make sure I don't swear for 10 minutes. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, that's reasonable. You can hold it back.
We've recently decided to make it a swear jar. So if I fail, I was about to say F up there, by the
way. He's getting better. The jar's working.
Good job.
If I fail, then we've got a set of charities which we'll donate to, or awesome. I would donate to there and then. So this one incident, someone redeemed it in chat. Mm-hmm. So for my timer, I'm using my phone, and I was going to beep here. I go, hey Google. Right, it didn't pick me up. Oh no, it did. So I did that, and Google took so many turns to get the timer going that I ended up swearing at my phone before it even set the timer to not swear for 10 minutes.
I loved it.
Absolute disaster. I was like, we're done here.
You're like, I'll just throw $10 in the jar. It's fine. I'll just get done with it. That's amazing.
You got to see it. I think you got it up on TikTok.
Yeah, I'll go look.
Oh yeah, it was a good clip. That was a great clip.
That was a great clip, brother.
Something I take a lot of pride in is just organic moments like that. Just it's so inwardly me that you can't. It's just And that's what I love about having the live stream, because it captures that, and that was just, it was brilliant. And people do redeem in the daily, so it's a definitive feature.
That's a perfect one. That's kind of one of those things too. Is I try and be reasonable when I do my videos. I really try and keep it clean. One, because I know my two nephews are watch all of them, so I definitely have a younger audience there. At least two of them my brother would be like, dude, can you stop? So he would call me out. But on the other side, when you said the live stuff on stream, that is truly some of the best pieces about being live. And it was hey, when it was Ori, and I'm sitting here, I'm just watching this, I'm like, guys, and they're tear jerking, little emotes and chat. I'm over here all right, I gotta wipe the eyes. You guys know what's happening right now. But same thing for you. It's when they're when you have those moments with your community and you hit the swear jar or the brain freeze and all those things that go through, it's that's one of those things about streaming that nothing else kind of captures. And when you've got a community, and yours has just been exploding, so congratulations, yours is awesome. But when you get those moments, it's those just stick, and then it's inside jokes for those who are there, and it just hangs around for a while. It's awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely, I love it, man. And what it is you have a lot of fun, and I love that in the community. Last question for you is the Pijinnn name and the coop.
Yeah,
how did you adopt the pigeon, man? Why did that become part of your personality?
It's not a glorious fancy bird, so now I gotta know. It's bald eagles, just
pigeon.
So there's so many stories that I told over the years. Now it was a nickname originally from high school, and the source of that in its own is a mystery. The one story I've always stuck to at the time was I had really bad posture. I'm obviously a taller person, so I used to walk with quite a slouch. And I actually can't remember being like that. I just walked with a slouch. My head was down, and someone in the group, the communal area at school, just said, "You walk like a pigeon" or something like that, and people just started calling me Pijinnn.
Oh,
the bird. And that's all I know at the time. But fast forward, I loved social media growing up, so MySpace came into my life, and I kind of adapted the Pijinnn name, and I typed it the exact way you see it today, all those years ago.
I love it.
All those years ago, and it stuck as a nickname, so it went on my PSN, it went on my gaming accounts, and it was just everywhere. So that was it. It was a nickname, and it was just I don't know, it was a screen name as well, I guess. And eventually, I made a Twitch account.
Love it.
I wasn't serious at the time, but at least I'm actually to this day glad that I nabbed the Pijinnn
Yeah.
URL and all that, not knowing how serious it would all get.
Mhm.
But that's kind of where it started from. It was a nickname, and people always remembered it. I think the one thing was anybody I ever met in my life, people always remembered that name. It was very easy to remember.
Oh yeah, it
very
sticks
true.
out.
And
Like
instantly recognizable as well. So I think that in its own was just a bit of a blessing.
Mhm.
I kind of got lucky with that one. So that's the unofficial story of
nice.
the name Pijinnn. As far as the community name, like I do
mean,
know it was just
Pigeon
in the
coop,
moment as
that
well.
makes sense. Yeah.
I was just like, I made a Discord one day. I'd started streaming again. I was like, I need to make a Discord now and try and get a proper like everything going offline.
Mhm.
And I just like Pigeon something this, Pigeon Coop, and that just
Cool.
stuck
Yep.
again. So it did kind of
Perfect.
just come to me. That was the Discord name, and then that became the community name as well. So
Nice. Salute, brother. I love it. I love how you adopted it. Love hearing the history behind it. And fun community, man. Salute to you. Definitely keep up the good work, sir.
thank you,
Indeed.
sir.
Last
you.
one I got to get in though.
Mhm.
And you said it as well. A lot of Twitch is not only American, but like how
Yeah.
often are you frequently asked about what did you say or the accent and things like that? Because there's little things like
Flavor.
when we're sitting here talking, I'm like, okay, took me like a second to get there, but is that like a common thing which you're like translating your own speech every so often? People just like kind of roll with it and not a big deal.
That's quite funny you should ask, because I recently added closed captions to the stream, and some people have had them on and they've read back some of the things that's been said. Like one of my friends in chat, Oddpog, you might see him there.
Yeah.
He was renamed iPod. I was just like, that's brilliant. Honestly, like there is a semi-language barrier because like even though I'm Scottish, I've also got a whole set of slang and jargon that I use that people might not understand. But I'm not kidding. A lot of people have came to the streams, said, "I have no idea what you're saying, but I bloody love it," and I'm just like, tell you what, watch this some more, you'll eventually understand what it's all about. And honestly, I think that's actually kind of stuck. A lot of people have eventually started to understand what I'm saying. If not, they can just kind of brush over or get the gist of what I'm saying when I say it. So no, that's it. Yeah, there's a semi-language barrier, but I also think a lot of people don't hear a Scottish accent on Twitch.
It's not it's not that you hear, you probably hear British or other things like that, but Scottish is actually not that often. So you're probably a rare one out there. Are there any? Give us 2 cool slang words, and then we'll move.
2 cool slangs.
Cool slang words.
Because I feel like you've even corrected me on Twitter before. Like, I feel like I asked somebody Scottish, and like you almost chimed in a long time ago. I remember that. But yeah, give me 2 slang words that are cool.
Dude, I couldn't come up with them off the top of my head because they just flows.
They just roll out.
For us, we're like mesmerized.
You're like, give me something.
Right. Well, there was one the other day. Like a simple one for you would be all right.
All right.
So that it's just all right, but it'd be like
all right.
I would type it AW right, so it'd be all right. So that's all right, mate. How you doing?
Somebody said, can you say purple burger alarm?
Purple burger alarm. I don't know what is about that. In fact, I know exactly what it is. See, I used to actually roomed with someone from California, and they were obsessed with the Scottish accent. And one of the ones is obviously like there's been a murder, and it's because when you're Scottish, you go dur. They've got a strong,
Murder.
they've got a harsh. It's harsh, yeah.
I love
it. That's for all you people in chat that are looking for a Scottish fix, a classic Scottish fix. So we've got all right, and I watched one of these things the other day. One of my friends put a video about Scottish slang, and it's escaping me.
Somebody said like crike, C-R-A-I-K. Crike.
Crack. That's more of an Irish thing.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the crack? What's the crack? What's the crack? It's more of an Irish thing.
Quare? Q-U-A-R-E? Quare?
I can't pronounce it. Yeah.
I've not heard that one. There'll be stuff that I don't know, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was just curious.
I'll leave you with all right. If you can master that, then you're not a winner.
All right.
Especially in the heart of Glasgow. All right.
Nice. Yeah, man. Good history, good stuff. We got to get into what's going on with this game, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how's which class are you guys supporting? Just to clarify, Titan here. We got
Warlock delegation here.
yeah.
I've been a lazy hunter, man. I've been a cliche lazy hunter.
You're living up to the bill there, sir. Way to go, holding strong. Is anybody gonna get the challenge triumph for like the 75 out of 77? Is anybody gonna check the box for all of them, or have you already done it?
Pigeon.
Nah, no chance.
Nah.
I'm quite
Meaning-
bad. I'm quite slow on the whole complete everything. I just play the game the way I want to play it. So
Probably for the best.
if someone asks me to deviate how I play, then I'm very unlikely to do it unless there's like a good reward.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's like the 4,000 brightest. I'm like, I'll spend the $4 if I really need it. I'm good. I don't care that much. But the big first news, I gotta let my man with the rose tinted glasses talk about his favorite over there. I had to do it. I had to do it.
You besmirch my moment, my VOG, my vote. How dare you?
Oh, that was too easy. Anyways, we got something coming up next season, and sir, you gotta tell him.
Yeah, man. Ready, set, raid. They put the news out, man. In case you haven't heard, the Vault of Glass is coming back. Go live on May 22nd at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
I'm sorry,
So
what day of the week is that?
Saturday.
Hey,
Saturday.
that's good for everybody.
That's good for everyone. We got more things that are good for everyone when we hear about it. So yeah, man, they basically said that we're gonna go up against Atheon again, and the story isn't changing, but we may notice differences. They said our goal was to keep it feel similar how we remember, but we made some updates to bring this content up to Destiny 2 standards. So again, we're doing that. Then they got the world first race. They said they talk about that kicking off in 2014. They want to know how they went to recapture the moment. So basically, these are the things they're going to shake up the race with. So it will launch with contest mode enabled for 24 hours. Now, this was big. You need to be only at 1,300 power.
Check, already done.
Yep, to be at the cap for all. That is huge. That is
It's
huge.
honestly smart.
And smart. More engagement. Everyone's in. Clearing Voltaglass with contest mode active is the first step to access the new challenge mode in the Director and the Tempo's Edge Triumph. Completing Temple's Edge, a curated list of triumphs in this newly unlocked challenge mode, will be how a fire team crosses the world's first finish line and claims their prize. To enforce the triumph requirements in the challenge mode, your team will wipe if you fail the success conditions during each encounter. Huge deal. We see the belt. We see what's going on with that Atheon on the side. So what do you guys think, real quick as far as challenge mode and all this good stuff?
The man who owns the coop, you go first.
Yeah, with the cool.
Thoughts on it?
Yeah, what you thinking, Pigeon?
It's going to be so interesting. We're really Well, I'll tell you what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for some solid updating, because I've been doing a lot of D1 raids recently, and when you play Vault of Glass, there's all that nostalgia that never stops. But when you actually get down to the core gameplay, you realize it's very primitive mechanics from the game's, or obviously its first raid. So hopefully we'll see some evolution for how that feels in Destiny 2. Hopefully because we can do loads of stuff in Destiny 2 compared to D1.
Yes.
On the platforms. Looking for not to be too much a cakewalk as well.
Right.
Well, a lot of people know how to do the raid. I don't want it to be a pure proper speed run world's first race.
30 minutes. Crap.
30 minutes. Yeah, speedrunners just go in, zoom through, bypassing it because they've got the knowledge of how to do the encounters. Obviously, once the whole challenge mechanic kicks in, that's pretty interesting though. The only thing I wondered for that is it going to be a checklist that you can see, this is what you need to do, or is that going to be a blind factor? That's what I'm kind of curious for. So that in its own, if it's blind, then that could be interesting. If it's a checklist, then it's there for you to do, and you know what you need to do. That again is what I'm intrigued. I would prefer it to be blind, so you've got a bit of working out to do, even if it gives you just a small clue as to what to do. I'm super excited for all the weapon drops coming back. Everyone that knows me knows that I love Fatebringer. It's my favorite gun in the franchise, outside Chaperone, that is. And getting that back in my loadout is going to be amazing fun. Although it's going to be that or Chaperone, I'm like, sitting there, what do I do?
Yeah, you got it.
So,
you can use both. Equip them both. You're good to go.
There you go. Other than that, I'm excited. I've already booked my time off. I'm going to give it a bash. I don't sense a world first for myself yet, but I'd love to give it my best shot.
We got to see if maybe the Ninja and I might actually play that one. So
nice, man.
it would be in respect to my co-host and probably about 150 episodes later to join him for the foray back into the Vault of Glass. So we'll see if we can make that happen.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Original teams. So I don't know if I'd ever play fetch my original team. Like, guys, I'm going on without you now.
I'm going on.
I've gone on to bigger and better people. This is.
Wow. I love it.
I mean, you're the one that said it.
That's like, I think you're kind of where I'm at on it too. It's like, I'm curious to see. I know the contest will be 1300. Do you guys think Challenge 100 will still be 1300 like cap, just maybe more difficult or more mechanic based? Like, do you think they'll level people up, or do you think it's just going to be more of the triumph challenges and the mechanics to it?
I get the sense. I feel like more mechanics. Saying more things. They've got to add things to it. Like Pijinnn said. I mean, a
wyvern champion. What?
I know, right? That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Oh, you know what I'm saying? You got the Gorgon and all that stuff. So, there goes Bob. Salute to Bob. So, like the whole thing is for me, challenges. I want to see how they implement, champions and things of that nature, because you figure that's got to go. Because at the end of the day, Destiny 2 Guardians are too powerful for Vault of Glass in its original state. Yeah. Like, it would be a massacre. We would mop the floor with all the new powers. I'm just thinking about well of radiance everywhere. I'm just thinking about all this stuff. Stasis even, right? Like there's a lot of stuff that you could do to really control stuff. So I'm very curious mechanically what they add. I think that's the thing. And then the thing for me is the challenges, right? The challenges in reference to, this tempos thing. And like Pijinnn was saying, like, it would be cool if you don't see it visually, right? And everyone's having I think what's interesting is the whole team will wipe.
If you don't get it.
That's interesting. That's a different kind of thing. And the last thing, 1300 power was a cool thing, because it's like everybody gets in. There's usually that thing where it's like, all right, man, new expansion. We got to grind, y'all. We got to grind. We got to get the level up. We got to do all this stuff. No, Saturday for the most engagement. It's smart. Everyone's going to qualify, and it makes sense. It's a nostalgic raid. And the last thing I think is, which I'm not surprised. I know I saw some people were a little mad. I think Tassie was a little mad about this, but I'm not too like some people wanted like this interwoven story of Vogue, and they were like, it's gonna be self-contained. And I had a feeling it's almost like, dusted off an old CD. They're not gonna like
put in the old remix.
Yeah, you put in the remixes, the old mixtape or whatever, like they're not gonna write this elaborate story, try to weave this in. Because me and you said this, E, like, how would they even do the initial encounter around the world? So, when you start up, you build the spire and all that stuff.
That's still gonna be there.
Yes, but not in like an open place. But go ahead.
Yeah, you won't be able to patrol Venus. They said it's going to be kind of an instance off area. I will be happy to see that sandbox again. I love the blue lava volcano. I missed that, so that's cool. But it is going to be basically, I'm picturing just this like, kind of cone straight into the entrance area. You've got the little opening. You'll run up. You'll have the platforms that you got to take care of and then go inside. So I'll be kind of curious how they handle that. One person in my chat did ask, do you guys think this will be free to play, or do you think it's season content?
I was going to say that. I actually think it would be free.
It would be nice if it was.
Yeah, I think based on the light level alone, that sounds like it's a free-to-play thing.
Feels it, yeah.
So that people can log in and play, and it's a raid for them to play for free. So, also, I'll go down that whole path of saying it's technically not new content.
Right. Oh no,
yeah. So I don't like open that kind of worms with chat and that, but like, yeah, I think it'll be free to play for all. I think that'll be a big selling point for picking up the game at least.
It would be a nice gesture considering,
Uh,
they're not
el-
talking about other things they're
the
making us
giant
pay
elephant
for.
turd still stinking up the corner of the room. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And as much as I've talked to me, you talked offline about this, as
Love
much as
that.
I love that this is coming back, Vault Glass, I just felt it was interesting, after the week that we had last week regarding transmog and no mention, and I gotta say this because even I love Bungie, you know what I'm saying? I love this game, but it's hard because Vaulted Glass is like my most beloved. As E calls me, the rose tinted glasses with this thing. This is the thing that got me into Destiny, made me commit to Destiny. I have an emotional connection, there's no doubt, right? And I'm excited for this. The only thing is, I just want the community, which I'm already aware you guys are cognizant, is that we love that we're getting this, right? But let's not forget, hold the line on Transmog. Let's not forget that they did not answer or address any of the uproar the community had last week. And that to me is a problem. So it's almost like, oh, shiny squirrel. Remember this? Remember this? Remember how we
Yeah.
did just jerk you over the hold the line on Transmog. Now, granted, what you call it, Dylan, DMG.
Yeah, he said something on Reddit.
They
Yeah.
made a small little, not in the TWAB, a small little statement that was like, look, we didn't feel it was in time, but, acknowledge or whatever. I just want to see that addressed. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't get distracted by this amazing thing that they're giving us to make us forget about the pain they put us through last week. So hold the line, Guardians. That's all I'm saying. But we can't enjoy this moment. This seems cool. To your overall question, I would hope it's free to play. I would hope it's free to play. That more people.
I was like, so there's not one right now, is there? There's not a free raid. They're all
This will
paid.
be and like Pigeon made a good point. This is technically not new content.
Yeah, no, it's not new.
Yeah.
I don't. If that's an argument you're having with anybody, it's not new. It's 7 years old. The belt can prove that because it's silver and not gold, and it's got the first raid team on there from 7 years ago, which is cool. So you give Prime Guard their little shout out, and then you'll get your new clan name up there. But yeah, it's like even this is like, hey, this is the second time through. We're gonna polish it up a little bit, but it's still it's Vault. It's been around for a minute. As you said, you've done Vault recently in D1. Now, one thing I am very curious about that Triumph list. As you said, I'm hoping they're hidden, but also I'm hoping because shout out to my chat and stuff like that, they can find a lot of data mine stuff. I knew the entire seasonal challenge, every single Triumph in there when the season launched.
Right.
So if that list leaks, people are going to go back and play D1, try and figure out some of the ideas of what they can do to get a leg up. So I'm hoping I would much rather have a patch Saturday at 9:30, one of those things to put it in the game or activate it or something so people can't look at it. I don't want that. So I'm hoping as you guys hope the challenges are hidden as well as they can be. That's my hope.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like I said, but we got that. We got the challenge mode. We'll see what happens. I am curious. Last thing I'm curious. Just the look. Just with an updated engine. How it's gonna look in D2. I'm very curious to see. Graphically and stuff like that. And obviously, like Frizz said, the drops, man. When Fate Trigger drops for a lot of people, the feels are gonna come right back. Obviously, all the other cool weapons we want to see about that Mythic class, right? If that Mythic class is going to be there.
You kind of feel like it has to be there.
If that's a big, we've had so many people come on the last word and talk about those drops and what it meant to them and stuff like that. So it's going to be curious to see those weapons enter the sandbox in D2 standards. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, so VOG for sure. Should be fun, should be good. Kagana might even check that one out. Might have to stream that one.
Yes.
Sandbox. I feel like this is just literally your TWAB. So Sandbox is also your jam. This is your TWAB. So yeah, I'm gonna cover the high level stuff, and then you can go through the detail. So first thing they wanted to talk about was heavy weapons, and they said they have 3 roles. There's ad clearing, single target damage, and burst damage. Okay, makes sense. They do different things. Swords, they're like, they're ammo efficient for ad clear, single target sustained damage, secondary burst damage at the cost of being next to a dangerous target. Rocket launchers, burst damage or ad clear secondary. Machine guns, ammo efficient ad clear, secondary single target sustained damage. Bullet point. We expect to adjust machine guns in a future season. They're not currently hitting this target. No kidding. You knocked them down and they're still sitting low. So please get on this faster. Anyways, I'll go through a little of this. Linear fusion rifles, single target sustained damage. They're getting some discussion, so we'll get to them. Drum grenade launchers, burst ad clear, single target damage. Exotic snipers also need some love. Single target sustained damage, where the target has a handy crit spot. They go through a couple examples. If you guys want to know how they use stuff in testing, read them. You've probably tried all of these. I did want to talk to you guys before we get to the specifics, though. The balance philosophy, because we've talked about this a little bit on here. Pijinnn with the sub, man, the guest subbing live on stream. Shout out with the big heart. I'm terrible at this whole heart thing. There
you go.
Absolutely.
They have two approaches, and I wanted to talk about this with you guys because we can go through details of how perks work. This one I sat there like with stream yesterday, just like scratching my head. So you got big swings. Make a big change that we believe will immediately encourage new player behavior. Most useful when we need to buff or nerf something hard enough that everyone can tell that it happened. The expectation that we may need to dial the tuning in later in a later release. Examples: the 120 hand cannon buff in Beyond Light, or the rocket launcher buff in Season of the Chosen. Incremental changes. Take something that we feel isn't far from where it needs to be and nudge it a little at a time. Most useful when we don't want to overcorrect or make something overpowered, or we don't want to make a change with huge test wake and would prefer smaller, safer changes. Examples: the precision auto rifle change outlined below, and the Season of Arrival's high impact pulse rifle change. So we have seen examples of this. They've truly mentioned like the precision auto change, it's bumping up by like one number. But then we also see everybody talks about rocket launchers for like 2 years, and then we get 30%. Right. So I wanted to ask you guys, because I was sitting there going, it's like, okay, everybody's like, hey, rockets. Hey, how about rockets? Rockets need a buff. Hey, rockets, 30%, here you go. And like somewhere over the course of that time, wouldn't it be easier to be like, okay, everybody talks about rockets, let's give them like 10%, see how it goes. And my question to you guys is, do you think that they use the big swings to shift the meta intentionally? Or do you think they honestly save the bigger swings to get players to feel it more? Because if they slowly bumped up rocket damage over the course of like 9 months and 3 seasons, everybody be like, oh, these actually kind of do feel better. But it like so gradually got there, they don't feel it. I wonder what you guys think their philosophy is. If they intentionally want to like, hey, swords are getting a little high, well, let's knock those down and bring the rockets up. Or is it more, we want to make things impactful when we put them in? Because if it's like we slowly bump rockets up 5% every month, nobody's gonna care.
I've got stuff to say, but I want to be respectful to our guest.
Pijinnn, you sir, thoughts?
I do have a few thoughts. A big factor in that, I think, is the content that they create. I'm going to reference like the Reckoning. I don't know if everyone's done the Reckoning.
Oh yeah.
It was a great example of like too much power creep and like at that meta, that point in time, too much power creep, too much tuning, over tuning, etc., etc. For those that don't know, the Reckoning was like a PvE event that involved going up a bridge, shooting lots of taken, lots of big yellow bars and stuff. But it was such a cakewalk for our abilities and our loadouts at the time that the only way that they could design the content was to have things push you off the bridge.
So snipe you from a distance.
So fast forward to just now, if they're putting out Vault of Glass, and I think they're going to buff and change stuff in line with that coming out, so that it becomes an experience that's still enjoyable but not a cakewalk.
Right.
And that's before and after contest as well. I'm just trying to articulate this here.
Sure.
As far as the changes go, I think some of it's planned for the content they're releasing. They'll turn around and say, right, here's the new PvE event. We think they've designed it based on the current sandbox, and then they might find out later that there's exploits and stuff. And that's when they'll do maybe a big sort of jet reaction, change stuff like the 30% buff to rockets. But then, as well as that, I just don't know, man. It's such a tricky game. A lot of it's data balancing, like who's using what. I mean, I've seen a lot of reactions for one of the changes to Maida. I don't know if you were going to mention that in a second, but people are like, yeah, we want these changes in PvP, but they're changing the Maida catalyst effect.
Yeah,
Okay, kind of random.
that was random.
So, I don't know. I really don't know, man. I think it's great getting new Sandbox changes, the big changes that make you go, oh, that's meta now. The only thing for me as a player though is like I don't know how long to keep hold of a drop. I could go, that's an okay drop, but it's not meta right now.
Yeah.
I'm a big vault hoarder. This has been a big discussion in my community recently.
Right here,
Vault hoarder,
horrible. I'm living through my postmaster and character slots constantly.
Yeah,
it's bad.
So like a big thing is like retaining loadouts and stuff as well, because they're not getting touched until they're made meta.
Yep.
So honestly, I don't know how to answer this properly. It's great that they change stuff. I don't know what their overall philosophy is. I do think what content they're putting out has a big factor on how they change the sandbox for all the weapons, especially. Because I don't know if you guys also remember, like Sleeper Simon got a random nerf because it was apparently going to be busted for the raid boss in Garden. I never to this day knew what that potential thing could be.
Yeah.
So, don't know. It's a tough one. I like incremental changes. It's just as long as they can react fast, and I think they have been a bit more agile with their changes. But the small changes are definitely to address like sudden feedback for sure. So, but the big changes, no idea, man. That's them trying to change how you play. I don't know when and what they decide. I mean, they've already. I liked this in the TWAB, but they did say we've got these other things going to have a big change soon, like the LMGs and whatnot. But we'll soon see what it is. Sometimes it does feel like you see one side of the community asking for insert change here, but they come out with a totally random thing. You're like, huh? So yeah, I see why you're asking. I hope that answers it in a way. That's how I look at it. That's what they're doing, but I don't know the total reasoning behind it.
Yeah, it's a good question. Before I answer the question, the easy guy is I've waited a long time for this day. You know, Pijinnn mentioned my infamous, my favorite, my baby, one of my even during the Gallahorn days when people were yelling Gallahorn, I was yelling Sleeper Simulant.
Sleeper Simulant, I knew it.
Sleeper Simulant was my baby. I remember when people laughed at it, and I was like, bro, this thing it hits like a truck. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? Like I brought Sleeper in there. I had so much fun. Like Sleeper, and then what really hurt is when D2 and Sleeper comes back, and it had a brief run. You had the reflective stuff, all that good stuff, but you know it got a subsequent multi nerfs, and I blame that evil Gambit mode. That evil Gambit killed my baby. So that people were so frustrated, and I get it. You know, the invader would come through, look for whoever, and sleep at that perk. I get it. They had to handle it, you know, and then we had the reflection nerf. It was just nerf after nerf after nerf. And then what made it, well, shout out to the cops, go on.
See, they don't agree either. They're pissed.
They clearly don't agree. But what made it worse was that in D2, acquiring Sleeper and that catalyst is one of the brutalest grinds ever. You got to do Whisper. You got to do all these things to get this catalyst. And then when you get it, you still got to unlock the catalyst. And then you got that, what is it? It was the raid just to get the catalyst. And then random, it was brutal getting this thing. And to have this thing finally come back to see linear fusions, man. Shout out to Rick Hackers. He out here doing the Lord's work. I got to shout out to homie Rick Hackers. He's been on the campfire many times. You know, he is like, when are linear fusions getting a buff? I've been sitting on it since the Crow. Remember that what's the activity that we used to do with the Crow, the hunts, right? Yep. And they had a good linear fusion in there, but it's like, yo, linear fusions are never good.
Tarantula?
And like, I forgot the name of it. Yeah, it might be. I forgot the name of it. The linear fusion in there is pretty good. It's a legendary one, but again, it's just that linears are so garbage that you just threw it in the vault. So it was one of those situations that I just kept things that I felt, okay, this had a good role, whatever. So I'm glad to see them finally address linears, getting to the philosophy thing what E's talking about. I see your point, Pijinnn, in reference to, I do think part of it has to do with the upcoming weapons that they plan on introducing, right, for the next season. This is my philosophy. I think their reasoning is this, and with the big swings, I think with big swings they tend to do archetypes more. So
Yeah.
they'll look at an entire archetype and be like, okay, you know what? Rockets are not doing it. Or I remember when grenade launches finally came up. We were like, oh my God, grenade launches used to be a joke in the heavy slot. I remember at one time. That was that. So I think that's what, because like they even actually say it. They say they believe that to immediately encourage new player behavior. So this is literally it. Incremental, my guess with them, is sometimes specific weapons. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times they're like, okay, we don't want to just bash this into the ground, or you know what I mean? So we'll just take a little, you get the 0.1% here. You know what I mean? You was gonna say something. You was about to say something.
No, like Pijinnn and I are messing with each other in chat.
Oh, okay, good. Salute to y'all. So, basically, it's one of those things where it's just like, I think just like little changes. I know they're doing the precision auto rifle stuff like that. That's an archetype, but for the most part, I think like exotic weapons or like sometimes it's like a very incremental. I give them credit for at least explaining the thought process, because that was something I always wanted to do. But I'm gonna give it back to you, E. Like, what do you feel about big swing versus increment? I don't get
this is always one of those times where I just want to be a fly on the wall. I
Yes.
want to understand, like, hey, the whole world wants rockets. Yeah, we're still waiting. What about rockets? No, rockets, no, maybe. And then it's like, that's one of those prime examples because it got talked about so long. Like, rockets are just trash. They were bad for so long. And then finally it's like, how much are you going to give them? About a third more damage. You're like, seriously? Okay, those are going to talk now, but why did we wait so long to get there? That's one of those literal, like, if rockets are all mostly that bad and they're worried about overdoing it, well, as they said, try it smaller.
Yes.
And then so what takes so long for them to settle? And then again, we get to another thing where it's like, how much time do they have to test archetypes? Because then they mention like machine guns. Is that going to take all of season 14, which could be 3 to 6 months just to get, because it's like in a future season. I'm like, it's going to take you 3 to 6 months to figure out if machine guns are not strong enough.
Yeah.
We're about to make linear fusion stronger. Rockets are better. Grenades are decent. Swords, well, those got crapped on twice. So it's like, it's weird because it feels like most of the community can understand where things probably ought to be. And then when they get there later, I'm like, what's up, guys? What you doing? And I know they're so data driven. There's something I don't know, but that's the stuff like I wish we could know. Like, why did rockets take 18 months?
Yeah.
When you could be like, hey, 10% going to hurt anything? No, probably not.
In fairness to you, I have to agree, because normally, I'm very nice with development, but with archetype, like especially linear fusion. Okay, you don't like Sleeper Simulator, fine, but we know the entire linear fusion. You laugh, you roll your eyes when that dropped.
Yeah,
You're like, come on, this is straight
like,
to the
what was it?
ball.
Line in the Sand back in Season of Dawn.
That
one never got to shine. It's already sunset. And like all the Dawn weapons were still cool, but that one was like, cool, I got one. I had it in my vault. I had it in my vault till I deleted it till I got sunset. And I'm like, what? That long? Like, that's a long ass time.
Yeah. Do you know what I think adds to that bonus? And that's what we're just saying in chat there. But when Line in the Sand came out, it had unique as hell perks. It had the fire in line. It had like that. You don't see that often. It's a very stock perk. And the other thing was you had a focused farm for it as well.
Yes.
So the play loop was you focus farm for something that had a lot of potential but never got to shine. Whereas now, you've got a focus farm again for the linear fusion in the game, and it's about to shine. But it's sad that you've had to do it twice. Again, that's like a derivative from sunsetting. But I think that's what adds to that. You get all these amazing things with unique perks that don't get to shine as well.
Yep.
Until they're buffed.
Yep.
I was combing over my vault last night, just looking at stuff, going, "That's going to be good. That's going to be good." Like I've got for example, I've got a Dire Promise. It's got Osmosis on it. That's a hand cannon, a 140 hand cannon, and it's going to. Well, I wonder what the stasis effect is going to be. Sorry, I know you've not covered this yet.
We're
it's good. Yeah,
we'll get there. But like a bit foreshadowing. I think I wonder what that's going to do. But up until now, I would never have used it. So it goes back in that. It's not shown yet, and it's not had a reason to.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with elemental capacitor. Same way
Yes.
with stasis, because you've got the like ADS strafe, like less of a penalty. I'm like, you literally just gave somebody a mobility stat by doing that. And that's something a whole lot of people like, that ADS mobility. And if you're going to give them that with elemental capacitor, I'm like, on stasis, which is already powerful, I'm like, I know that's not going to be game breaking, but somebody's going to be like crazy, unable to touch, like strafing, like back and forth like crazy. So no, yeah, that stuff's interesting, but it's like, yeah, some of the stuff takes so long. And that's why I wonder, it's like some of the changes I feel have to be a little intentional sometimes, because like then they can get this like rotation of what's good in this kind of moving cycle of like, oh, we're coming back around to linear fusions being good, and then they're slowly going to get nerfed. Like the one that I'm going to laugh at, if they ever nerf rockets again, I'm going to be like, guys, then you're showing your hand.
Yeah.
They take 2 years to buff them, and they're like, well, rockets are strong now. We did it a little too much. We're going to have to bring them
we
down.
went over. Yeah.
I'm like, you took 2 years to figure out a number, and then you think you went too far. Like, don't do that. So that's kind of the point of like, yeah. So it was just a weird philosophical one. I was sitting there with chat when I was reading through it, and I'm like, I have some questions, so I wanted to ask you guys. But yeah, weapon archetypes, we've got 3 main changes, and then a question I have for you guys as well. Precision autos. This is the incremental. They're taking precision autos, so 450. So you've got Shadow Price, you've got 7 Seraph Carbine. Those are the 2 that I know of at least. Those are going from 17 to 18. So we'll see how that fares in PvP. Nothing crazy, I think, over the top. I don't know if that's going to like new meta, but probably not. So you'll be okay. Autos won't be running, Cognito's going to be fine. No crazy auto run. Quick touch on fusions. I think this is probably to help counter shotguns. They're increasing the damage fall off start distance by 2 meters. So they're just pushing out the max damage a little bit farther. Linear fusions. The main thing is they have seen the discussion that some people almost want these to be specials. And then they kind of have to go back and forth, because we've seen Arbalist. And to make that compete with like sniper insta kills, you have a charge time. So the aim assist on Arbalist was like, hey, here's half your screen. Are you in there? You're dead. Like it was a bit over the top. And they're like, oh, got to reel that one back in. But how long did that take to get reeled back in again as well? That took a long time. Yeah. So they've heard the feedback of possibly linear fusions being specials, which I think would be an interesting shift. For now, they're going to keep them heavy. They're going to do precision damage 15%. Which I don't know if that's enough. It's not bad, but I still don't know if it's enough, because I'd have to go back and watch like Error. He did testing, like he had a Frenzy new linear fusion rifle, and he's like, still doesn't hold up. So I don't know if 15% will be enough. 20% ammo reserves.
That's what I think.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what it is I actually don't mind this one, because I was like, you have the weapon. I feel the spirit of the weapon is to get precision crits with it, right? So you want to increase that reward, that not just up the damn, because I know them. Bungie don't like shooting from a distance and people getting reported. So they're like, okay, make it a skill weapon. You give them 50%. I love that. But the reserve ammo is going to be key. I think when we put on those linear fusion reserve mods and we get more chances at it, then it's going to shine in the long game DPS. And I'm feeling good about this one. I was like, all right, this is my baby. I love this archetype. You know what I mean? And when they introduce it, so and to their point with the
and to confirm for everyone, Exotics, Sleeper, and Queenbreaker also get these buffs.
Yes, baby. Woo! Yes, baby. Oh, those two. Queenbreaker is criminally underrated too. But man, I think that this is a nice play. I think it will play that, and I actually don't mind that they said they're not going to move it into special. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm good with it, man. I want to see how that rock. And autos, the when the 450s needed love, especially for PvE.
Well, 360s do too, and they're still not touched. So
yeah, the 360. We already know 360.
High impact. So like doop, like I'm just sitting here dying anyway. Before I get to my question about the rares, are you good with this Pidge? Do you think there's more you need, less you need? Feeling good on this stuff?
I only had one thought, and it's actually to do with how we use the weapons again. And it's when you're in activities, except for high-end stuff like GMs, most stuff in the game is just meltable. You just melt them. So something that I miss that happens in D1 especially when you do the raids, is proper hardcore damage phases where you complete the run of mechanics, you get a damage phase, but you sure as heck don't like take down the boss on that damage phase. You have to go over it at least 2 more times.
Oh, the damage check? Yeah.
A damage check, yeah. So like we did a RAF maybe last weekend there. On the easiest mode, because we were teaching someone, we still had to do 3 damage cycles with all our particular loadouts. And most of us were using things like Sleeper. People were using Dart Drinker, which was the meta for the Axis fight. And you still had to 3-phase it. So I think when they're talking about the design concepts for weapons and all the sandbox changes, I think it'd be really cool to see proper scenarios for each gun to shine. So burst damage, and then like long phases, the long phase, and then like insta kill damages. So when you're facing champions, you want to take them down as fast as possible. Great. When you're facing the end a strike boss, you do want to take them down fast, but also it's damage checks. Like I'm not vouching for damage checks. We love a boss melt in Destiny 2, but when it comes to doing raids and stuff, I'm a big fan of doing that whole endurance style, playing the game, and then having the weapons that shine through for those unique damage phases. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. Like, linear fusions fit well for Atheon, for a prime example, actually, because you have a crit spot, as opposed to Atrax, not Atrax, wrong raid.
Which one?
Sacred.
Wrath. Wrath.
Oh, Wrath.
What you just said for swords, Axis. So like when you've got swords there, and so you've got different places. So as you said, it'd just be nice to see different encounters. Like even a strike where it's not, here's a little room, dude runs in a circle, like where you gotta, have a longer range shot at some point where different people have different purposes. I get you. Yeah. I completely understand. It'd be nice to have heavies all have a reason. And right now, same thing with like heavy snipers. I haven't seen those used in a long time.
Yeah. I love Whisper and Darcy. I remember doing what was the second raid layer? Eater the Worlds.
Eater, yep.
Eater. Loved using I think Darcy was a staple for me for that raid because it was a big static boss and it was really fun to offload Darcy rounds and sleeper rounds. Obviously sleeper not sleeper, sorry. Whisper. They've not been in the meta for a while for PvE. They're just kind of there. They're an okay option. But we've not had a boss that says, hey, this is a great choice for this raid boss.
Right.
That's totally fine. I mean, look what they did with Tanix. They made him a non-swordable close-range DPS boss. And what did we have in our loadouts? We had slug shotguns, which had just got a buff.
Yeah.
So, I'm always savvy for what's up and coming in PvE meta. So I've already got my threaded needles with Vorpal, auto-loading, extended barrier, all the good stuff.
Nice.
So I think it's just a matter of being savvy with what's coming up. Like saying to yourself, that's going to be meta next season, or it's got a chance to be meta. Like you said, 15% isn't a lot, but it could be enough to be part of a DPS build, like as an Aggies, linear fusion, something else. So
that'd be nice. That'd be nice, man. I'm excited. I'm definitely gonna dust off. I think it's called Corsair's Wrath.
Yeah, somebody mentioned it in chat earlier. Yep.
That one, I've got a couple. The one from the new Battlegrounds. I got like a Vorpal. I got a couple sick rolls that I've just been sitting on. I've just been vaulting them because part of me was like, you know what? You never know with Bungie. It's good. And I got a couple frenzy ones with that too. So it'll be interesting to see, now with the 15%, what you call it, how it's going to play out, in the DPS phases and stuff like that. And there's actually one boss in particular. One raid boss in particular I want to go back to it. It's Garden. I want to go back to Garden and then see how linears do there when your guy that floats up, Megatron boss. So I want to get him out of there. So we'll see. We'll see how linears play out. But this is good. At the end of the day, I mean, I agree with E. It takes too damn long sometimes. But look, it finally, the day has arrived. I can finally stop complaining. This one was for me. They wanted to shut me up. They knew I was mad with Transball, so they gave me my linear fusions back.
Yeah. Can I just throw an extra thing into the ring?
Well,
in tandem with all that stuff, not to overlook is the seasonal mods as well. There could be a nice pot of linear, there could be a nice pot of linear fusion mods to go in hand with that stuff.
Don't say that. Don't say that. You touching my heart now. You touching my heart, brother. Brother, if I see some linear something with unstoppable or something, bro, I would get excited. I
There
would
you
get
go.
excited.
That would be their first time on a heavy though, actually.
Yeah, I've never seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be crazy.
Maybe the seasonal exotic season pass exotic is a linear fusion rifle.
See now, y'all touching the fields. This is the fields, right? I
We're
am
touching
linear
Cognito in a
fusion.
special place. No, I'm sorry. Wait, what?
Exactly. Sleeper
I've gone too
gang.
far.
You're going too far, but I'm with it. Sleeper gang, man. Oh man, I just love that archetype. I thought it was a cool archetype. You know what I mean? Because you know this, I know this. I'm not a sniper. I'm trash at sniping. So Lydia was for me. Lydia, they spoke
Little
to my
aim
soul.
assist,
Yeah,
little
look,
old charge
give him a
time.
little aim assist and put him in the corner. Yeah, man. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm curious to see what they do with that artifact. Good point, Paige. Good point, because the artifact will be interesting, man. So y'all gotta be excited again. I was all mad about this game. Now I'm excited.
Well, before we get into perks, which is a discussion in itself, I wanted to check with Pijinnn on your
we gotta respect
time,
your
sir.
time,
I
right.
wanted to see how you're doing.
So something good came up. So I am free to continue as long as you want to.
Okay, nice.
All
we will
right,
try
cool.
not to take forever long, but if you are
Yeah.
good, just
Nice.
you let us know. So I wanted this seemed like a
No
decent
problem.
break point.
Sandbox talk, yes.
All right. So perks. We actually get a decent amount of changes. I feel like this has been quite a while since we've had a list like this of just weapon perks to go through. So this is big. So first one, I'm kind of pumped on this one actually because it's one that I enjoy.
Let's go.
Subsistence. When we made this perk, we were experimenting with unusual downsides for perks, but check your focus. But ultimately decided it fixed. That reducing reserves wasn't an interesting trade-off. I hated it. Like, especially if you get it on a submachine gun.
Oh, it's trash.
Awful.
Trash.
You're
Two bullets.
Yeah.
2 bullets. Go ahead.
I didn't even give it a shot. I was like, rubbish perk, gone.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really, really was. I have a subsistence rampage gnawing hunger that was fantastic. Like, I used that thing in Prophecy, honestly, and that's probably what I used on a solo run. But man, you get on a submachine gun, I was like, or even a hand cannon, you may as well just, yeah, it was in the garbage for sure. We wanted to be able to put the perk on special and heavy weapons. That part intrigued me. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Where reducing reserves would feel terrible, which of course, yeah, that would be pretty trash. Submachine guns were granting a much smaller magazine fraction than auto rifles, so no longer a reserve reduction. And SMGs get 17% when you get the kills. Like autos, it was 10%, so that's going to feel better in general as well. So overall, good changes, I think, here. But the one that has me intrigued is like, is this going to show up on specials and heavies?
That's a good question.
Because, I mean, that subsistence on like a legendary machine gun would almost act like, what is it? Overflow, like 21% delirium almost. Because you're just, that would basically make the Titan exotic useless though. But I guess it would give you an option of how to play.
They're definitely doing it. Look, the sentence, we also wanted to be able to put the perk on special and heavy where reduced. So they were thinking if once they put it on special and heavy, they don't want to
subsistence on breach load grenade launchers in PvP. Yes. I'm gonna piss everybody off. So
that would be scary.
That would not. They're not gonna do that. That's a joke.
You never know. Special.
No, that's not gonna. That's not gonna happen.
You never know.
They won't do that. I could see it on machine guns. I could see it even on linear fusions. See, that's the thing about snipers and linears. To me, those truly only come out for bigger targets. Yes. I'm never gonna pop heads in PvP with either of those for little red bars. That feels like a waste of my ammo. So it's always like, oh, what is it like? Triple tap on not on a sniper rifle. Where you have to get kills with a sniper rifle. I'm like, never. No, that's trash. Like. Some perks I know they gotta like make the pool not always god rolls, but some of them like just give me better options. But yeah, subsistence. I saw this one. I was like, sweet, because I have a subsistence frenzy roll right now. I'm like, hello,
bro. I got a subsistence thresh roll right now that I love. I get my super and it just keep. Yeah, it's hot, man. I can't wait. SMG is gonna be lit.
Any rolls you're looking forward to, Pidge?
I'm just thinking subsistence on a sniper rifle. That's ammo refills on kills. That's like even lower skill gap than triple tap and 4 times charm. Yeah. So that would be. I think that would be a waste as well, or would just make those other 2 perks less useful. Well, for
Depends on boss damage versus groups of ads.
it depends. I suppose I'm thinking the wrong way here. Triple taps sustain damage. Never mind.
You're
Scrap
good.
that.
You're good.
You're good.
As far as roles, I'll keep an eye out for subsistence on an SMG, but I'm more of a overflow guy or fast reloading perk. I quite like. I think that suits my playstyle better.
Yeah.
I've got like the non-hunger. This was something I had from the Reckoning and Arrivals, and it's not getting sunset, thank goodness. It rolled with Overflow Rampage, and it's a 600 RPM auto.
Love it.
So I still think that's a very powerful perk as opposed to Subsistence, but Subsistence is going to be really good in sort of mid-tier PvE for sure. As for special weapons and stuff, as long as they don't do like what you're saying, breach loaded, that would just be like you think in the game.
Wild.
You've got Fighting Lion, which it has that effect where if you clean up with another weapon, it reloads the weapon. That's an exotic perk. And if you're going to say that Subsistence has that same effect, but all you need to do is actually kill the target, that's scary. Picture someone running riot, just grenade launcher, reload, grenade launcher in the face,
Yeah, it'd be too much.
Man.
Would be a bit much, but yeah, that's so if they just want to, that's one of those, the Joker line, they just want to watch the world burn. So
exactly. Exactly.
Next one, this is weird, honestly, didn't even know this. High impact reserves and under pressure due to technical constraints at the time these were created. The trigger,
that's your favorite word. Technical constraints.
Don't even get me started.
I know I had to mess
New Red's over there like engine.
Yep.
The trigger condition on these is on projectile impact. Basically, it says the bonus won't take effect until you fire the weapon once. But we have more flexibility in perk activators now, so now it should activate even if the conditions are met. So high impact reserves, under pressure, basically low end of the clip things, now finally work as intended as opposed to have to waste a bullet to activate it. So like a high impact sniper rifle means a lot more than a high impact auto rifle.
Right.
So this is working as intended, which is a good thing. Unrelenting. This was hard to trigger in difficult content, and the health awarded was hard to perceive. So it now is easier to trigger in PvE, immediate trigger on majors, and heals 20% more. So overall, a little more survivability there.
Can we get Bungie, especially with these healing perks and Suros, can we get an indicator on the screen that says, yo, unrelenting, you know what I'm saying? Active. Like, I just want to see, because sometimes you're in the mix of the combat, you know what I mean? And you want to know if it triggered, you know what I mean? And I don't feel like the healing perks, especially Suros, like, I'm not really looking at the top of my screen at that bar all the time. I would like to know that it triggered. I think they just need to add a little in the bottom left, a little indicator with that.
Right in the middle of the screen, healed.
I want to know. I want to feel good that it's working. Like, you know what I'm saying?
A little more obvious when stuff like that kicks in. They always have to walk the balance, and they even talk about that later on one of the perks of like trying to not overwhelm your screen with you already got numbers, you got the HUD, you got the little kill feed down here in the bottom left corner. Like they're like, if we add anything else, this is gonna get messy. So it's tough, but I'm with you. It's like, can you put like a little green healing like thing in the corner, like unrelenting, like pop through?
Make the gun light a color or something that to know that it's activated. Because a lot of times with these perks, if it may be working, but it just feels useless because I don't feel any type of feedback that it, you know what I'm saying, like other perks would have that'll say that that it's going. So that's my thing.
Well, I mean, that's the same reason why like reload and damage is the most popular. Why?
Exactly.
The most easily like tangible per se in a game video. Tangible is not a real way to say that, but that's the most tangible thing you can interact with. Numbers go up, animation goes faster. Like it's very obvious it's happening as opposed to, I think my health went up a little. Was that recovery? Like, it's so questionable. It's not like
you see kill clip in the corner. Rampage times 2, rampage times 3. Let me give it a little unrelenting love. That's all. That's
feedback looks important for the user experience. I actually still use Suros and luckily got the catalyst. And you're so right, man. You're in the middle of it's mainly a crucible weapon. You're fighting someone and you're about to die, but you get the perk to proc, and usually you would just back out of the fight anyway. If you were almost done, but at that point in time, you could have pushed forward, made a play, but you knew too late. You see your health bars back, like, oh, I could have came out on a streak there.
Yeah, absolutely, completely agree. Well, we
Yeah,
got
there's a
sympathetic.
pop-up that shows when you stagger and unstoppable. Yeah, just stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah, just
a little
saying.
bit.
Yeah.
Sympathetic arsenal, which is pretty much only I like on a bow. If anybody likes this perk on any other weapon than a bow, let me know because I haven't found a great love for it.
I haven't used it.
It isn't appealing enough for many players as it is, but is useful in niche situations already. Yeah, I know. So we decided on a small buff to sweeten it a little. Said now it grants plus 20 reload speed in addition to its primary effects. The idea is when you reload your weapon, you reload your stowed weapons. On a bow, you literally reload every time.
Right.
So faster reload on a bow. I've got like an archer's tempo, sympathetic arsenal. I'm just gonna be like, ready, switch, go, okay, right. So like that's about the only place I can find a use for it though. It's like literally I can only picture it on a bow. SMG and some sidearms. Okay, so New Rad's got a couple examples. Just if you burn through a clip, basically is the idea.
Yeah. Pigeon, how you feeling about sympathetic arsenal?
I personally, again, I don't really use it. I mean, I'm more inclined. I think most weapons that would benefit from that have auto loading on them or equivalent. Don't get me wrong, like it's good to go into a fight with everything loaded up to that extent. I mean, I can see going into Crucible with a shotgun and a bow, perhaps. And yeah, you're picking up ammo, and then anytime you pull out your shotgun, there's a good chance that it's fully loaded. You can make a play. Other than that, yeah, I think it's still super situational. Not really going to change the game, especially when we're souped up on reloading perks as it is.
Yeah. Shout out to New Rad. He riding for it. He's like, I'm telling y'all, I get slept on. You know what? I gotta try. I'm very disrespectful to that perk. When I see that perk, it's automatic shard. Like I don't think I've even tried it, to be honestly.
Only thing I got it on was a bow. I was like, this has potential. So I was like, I put it on. It's like literally, I was like, fire one thing, and it's like totally reloaded it all. I was like, that's not bad, but I haven't had as many uses for bows lately either. So that's kind of why.
So now it's going to be a plus 20 reload to the gun itself.
Yep.
And then,
yeah, so you get a benefit to what you're using outside of the other ones as well. So it's just all about the reloads.
Mini outlaw plus, kind of, sort of. Whatever.
Did they say it's when the perk activates, or is it a flat reload buff on the weapon?
Just
like a flat
plus
buff.
20 reload. So just like a boost to the stat.
That's actually pretty good. Like especially on a slow reloading weapon, a little plus 20,
Yeah.
And that's without putting on a reload mod on your armor.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want it on a slow reloading weapon though, because you want the reload to go into effect for the other things to be full. So you want this one on something that reloads a little faster. You don't want this on like a machine gun to wait like an hour to put all the bullets in. Finally, cool. Now my other stuff's ready. I'm dead. Like you want it somewhere else to reload the machine gun for you. That's the idea.
I hear that. Rule Rat. Imagine not having to take time to manually reload Xenophage or Rock. No, I agree that with the slow ones, it's going to benefit if you have something fast like what you're saying. I see where y'all going with it.
Breach load grenade launcher. So I don't think it's on any of those though. Dragonfly, it has always bugged us that Dragonfly wouldn't proc on every enemy you could finish with a precision hit. Now it works on heavy shanks and servitors. Woo, party.
Yay.
Okay. Well, a fun fact on that one, I initially read that as shanks, so I thought it meant the non-precision shanks, and I thought that meant I could go in and hit like red bar shanks and cause like chains explosions.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I was about to tweet it out last night, and then one of my friends was like, "No, it's precision on heavy shanks." I was like, I've totally misread that. I was getting buzzing. I was like, I'm going to run about with Fate Bringer going boop on a single shank, and it's just going to go. But yeah, no, it's precision still. So yeah,
no doubt. I think
almost misread that.
I know. I did the same thing. I got too excited.
I
was like, oh, them little red shanks gonna get it. And then I was like, oh, not those. Damn. You know what I'm saying? So it's anything with it. You're right. Anything with precision. The only thing I don't like about Dragonfly, I just wish the explosion was fast. I feel like there's that delay and then poof.
Occurs even faster than after Season the Chosen fix. That's literally they're fixing the speed of it. So
that's what I was like, because that's my main thing. I was like, that delay would bother me. So I want to see how this now, is a little quicker. I want that sunshot type of flare. It just poof, like, really, really big. But continue.
Hip fire grip. I'm going to leave this one to the Mercules, the firing range chats. I'm going to read just the first bullet point. And if you get confused from there, it's okay, because trust me, I'm confused while I'm reading it. Hipfire grip. We're being careful not to overbuff this. Since hipfire is too effective, it changes the game significantly. So we're going to bump this a little bit over the Season of Arrivals buff to make it more useful option. Here we go. +1 degrees precision hipfire angle threshold. Plus 1.2x reticle stickiness fall off distance. If you know what that stuff means, more power to you. I have an idea what it's basically saying.
We can't complain. We wanted the numbers.
No, you want to know the annoying part? No. They're like half. Here's all the numbers in the world, and then down below they don't even give me a number, and I'll get to that perk. So I'm just like, what are you doing? Where's the consistency?
By the way, that reminds me. See, when they talk about the auto rifle, the precision auto rifle buff, they just give you a number, and it's not a reference to PvP or PV. So
right.
It's just a number. I'm assuming it's PvP.
It seems like that one is, right.
But then that stuff's like, comes in with extreme technical stuff.
They're like, here's all the technical jargon ever. Okay, it's for adept counterbalance. They're like, increases the recoil direction. By how much? It doesn't say. Like, I'm just like, you people. Anyway, 1 degree doesn't seem like that much. But for reference, hand cannon aim assist cone is 2.5 degrees at 0 aim assist to 3 degrees at 100 aim assist. Literally, the full aim assist range is half a degree. You can feel the difference between 90 aim assist and 100 aim assist on a hand cannon, which is 0.05 degree increase. So a small difference can be significant. Note the precision hipfire angle caps at the aim downsized aim assist cone angle. I'm eating my own words over here. This is rough.
There you go.
I'll ask you guys a sort of ironic question. Do you guys use the last words in Crucible?
I am so bad with that gun. I am terrible. So this is for literally the last word, I'm sure, but I am awful with that gun. Oh no.
Yeah.
Do you?
Just wondered. I used to. I play it on console. It was amazing. And by the time I'd moved to PC, they'd started nerfing it on mouse and keyboard. And it got the first nerf. I used it for a little bit, but you can't duel on PC with it because you're like a laser pointer. And a lot of that's relying on your own accuracy, but you lose fights that way because it's hip fire. Right. And then they nerfed it the second time, and it was just gone. Yeah. But they changed the hip fire grip thing, so that could weigh it in again because it is the aim assist that makes it so dominant with a controller in hand.
Yes.
Yeah. I watched a lot of Grenadier Jake, and he still uses his last word, and you can see how it operates in the game world. You can just see he can duel with it. He can win fights.
Oh yeah.
So I'm hoping for that. It's one thing that I've not used in ages. So with these subtle changes, like hoping to see that gun shine a little bit better, or like stand a chance again without being too broken.
Right. No, I agree. I think the last word is definitely going to benefit. I mean, console, like you said, it's pretty strong with that aim assist, and now it hip fire, which is intrinsically how you're supposed to use that gun at its most effectiveness. Like this should benefit, So yeah, good call. Last word users, dust them off, get out there. Could be a fun meta for you. We're gonna see. Yeah. E's favorite ones, the iron
Oh,
series.
dude, I went in on this in my video. God, bugs the hell out of me.
This is all you. Who
Iron grip, iron reach, iron gaze. We were cautious when making stat bump perks in Season of Arrivals, not wanting to break weapon stat ranges at too low a cost. But the penalties shipped with these were too much now that we've seen them in the wild. Reduce the second stat penalty from -40 to -30. It still sucks. I hate these. I cannot stand these, and it's even worse on the adepts. But like, I looked them up. The only one that is okay is when you give up reload speed for stability. I think is one of those. Like, I think it's grip. But gaze or reach or one of those, when you're like, hey, let me get +20 stability for -40 or still -30 range. I'm like, no way in hell anybody's picking that.
Right.
I can't stand these. These are way too dramatic.
I think they've got the new Iron Banner weapons coming out next season. I am interested in a shotgun with Iron Reach or Gaze, the one that gives you more range. I think that's a real like it. Just I think it's going to depend on the archetypes, man. Like, is the stat trade off worth it still? I don't know. I remember I got a hand cannon. I got the steady hand, and it had the reloads in there, like the one you're talking about, Bonus, that had the minus whatever reload, and that
Yeah.
gun already has a dismal reload stat.
So it's
So
just
you're
like
standing there
negative 40.
you're just like reloading it. Is it
He's like,
worth
hold on, I gotta make the guns hit the bullets in the animation. He's over here like pressing the bullets. Okay, I'm back. 5 minutes later, I got my clip in.
Exactly. So I think it really comes down to archetypes, man, because I've got the SMG just now, the multi-mac, and it's got the range perk on it, and I think the penalty stability.
Yep.
And because like on PC at least, you don't really feel it at all. So
Yeah, that's right.
I guess that's subjective to the platform as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that gives it really good dueling range, like up to like 20 meters, and you can start spraying someone in the face. Whereas if I had an SMG that was that without Iron Reach, it wouldn't have the same range stat, and I wouldn't really feel the benefits of stability anyway. I don't feel. So yeah, I think that comes down to archetypes as much as the perks.
Maybe I should just shut up and quit complaining.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think you're right. I think there's still less desirable perks as opposed to the staples.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at an archetype and say, hey, that would actually benefit from that perk, that's when you start to, like a shotgun with stability.
Yeah, you don't need that, right?
You
So just give everything away if you'll give me range. People do that all day long. So that makes sense. I didn't think about what's coming. So there's a couple, again, niche situations where you're going to go for it. But sometimes I see this, I'm like, oh, this is just awful. I think one of them was an SMG, and the range was like 5. And I was like, it was the multi-mock. I think I got that one. Hold on. I actually want to check dim. I think it was like a multi-mock, and it was, which I'm probably saying wrong in the first place. Nope. That was, oh no, that is it with Iron Reach. Yeah, so plus 18 range, minus 34 stability. So that one's not horrible, but I feel like there are some. Yeah, there we go. I got Iron Gaze, so minus 31 range, plus 20 aim assist on a submachine gun. So my range is 10. So yeah, no, not so good.
Submachine gun is close encounter anyway. But I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But yeah, so it seems it'll be 30, so I guess a little give and take. So oh well. I'll be quiet and shut up. It's fine.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I'm with you. I always felt that it's too hard a swing on the opposite side for me. You know, obviously there's going to be some guns in some specific scenarios where, you know, things may, you know, be beneficial for a specific, you know, thing. But I just hate, it just doesn't feel good to get a perk that says, we're going to take away all of this with this perk, you know, and it don't feel good. You know, those things never attract me, but we got Osmosis, man, big one.
Oh, yeah, Osmosis. Well, Elemental Capacitor, I think, has more, but Osmosis, this was a question. Osmosis now switches the weapon to stasis damage when playing a stasis subclass. This should work for any mechanics that ask for stasis damage. So basically, is this just to do bounties with stasis damage? Because it's not going to do what I want it to do, where if I hit him 6 or 7 times, they're frozen. That's not how that's going to work. That's what I want it to do eventually.
Yeah.
But do you guys think this is just like, oh, now you can kill stuff with stasis damage via bounties? Is that all this is for?
Probably. All right. What you think?
Is there anything I'm missing?
What you think?
So this is, like I said earlier, I've got that dire promise with Osmosis. And does that mean when I go into PvP with it that I throw a stasis grenade and I start shoot someone else in the face?
Can you stack?
Is it going to start stacking slow and what on them?
See, that's what I want to know. I don't think. I wish it would. Let's just say that. I wish it would, because that's what I want. Like, I want Solar to slowly build up. Like, Kujay's done some cool stuff for like possible future builds, but I've always wanted, like, right now we've talked about it's a joke of a color match game. Be like, oh, hit the orange guy with the orange button. Hit the blue guy with the blue thing. Hit the dark blue guy with the blue thing is the only thing I see coming right now. Green maybe next, in which all these things are just colors right now. They don't do anything. So if a weapon fires stasis outside of that grenade launcher, if I have a stasis weapon and it's just for a color, who cares? But if I shoot stasis weapon and it starts to slow them down, that would be amazing. But I just don't know if it's going to work that way. And I doubt it highly.
You know damn well they ain't doing that.
No, exactly.
That would be too fun.
Oh, that would be so like if you could get an auto rifle in PvP, you hit somebody like 4 or 5, they start burning and then you could bail and they just burn out. Like, That would change the game and make it. Oh, that would probably break a lot of things, but I think it'd be a hell of a lot of fun.
Sounds very Outriders. You got to stop your Outriders influence. All that fun. It's too much fun. You got to
Too much fun in Outriders. I'm sorry.
Back in line with all this, outside the box fun thinking.
Set things on fire, freezing, toxic burning damage. Yeah, too many things. We're gonna break those legendaries. Yeah, those legendaries can't do too many perks. We know that now.
Yeah, measure.
It's like status elements from RPGs. If they had to introduce that to the stasis effect, they would need to have one for everything, like an effect for everything. It wouldn't just be only stasis does it with osmosis. If anything, they might introduce stasis heal breaks, like you said,
right?
This season. If at the minimum, but for PvP, I can just see it. You log in, start of the season, osmosis hand cannon, PvP, stasis. You start shooting someone, they get slowed, and you're just sitting like, like exactly. Everyone's gonna be chasing that osmosis.
Oh, yeah, that would be what? Those rolls would be chased so hard. Oh,
see, it would be so nice though too. It's like, hey, I'm in solar. You should not be able to freeze anyone in their solar subclass with stasis. I'm sorry, but like I'm literally fire. I'm literally on fire. Be like, no, I'm still gonna freeze you down. I'm literally burning through your ice right now. Come on. Anyway, rant aside, elemental capacitor with a stasis subclass grants plus recoil direction. Again, they don't tell you how much, but they'll give me the 0.50 degrees cone angle and reduces ADS move speed. Now that one I thought was actually interesting because if you go stasis, which is already a powerful subclass, and then you give somebody reduced ADS move speed penalty, you just bumped their mobility stat without needing a mobility stat. So that actually seems like it has potential for people that like, strafing in their gunfights and stuff like that. I think.
Got to see it ineffective. You know what I'm saying? But
Cosmic Eyes puts out Cosmic Fire.
I mean, look, they should. I see the chat. Shout out to Uncle Donut Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I agree with all of that. I agree with the fact that, like you said, he mentally back to the whole thing. Like if you're in a fire solar class, you feel you should melt ice.
Feels like it.
I just feel like it.
Cosmic ice. It's not affected by normal fire that's based around oxygen. This is different stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain it because it just pisses me off. It's so annoying. Be like, oh, cold snap graded. I'm in my super running out shit. I'm like, this is so wrong.
Disrespectful. It's very
but elemental capacitor seems like could be interesting to see if people are just like, you can't touch me. Can't touch me. Like they're just all over the place. No distractions because an exotic change below the sniper rifle flinch changes in Season of the Chosen. Wanted to make no distractions a more appealing option for combat flinch, so they reduce the trigger time for it to activate by half a second and increase the flinch reduction by a whopping 5%. Doesn't sound like a ton, but what do I know?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, try to make that for snipers, more appealing, I guess. We'll see. It's one of those in use we gotta see.
Yeah. Celerity and bottomless grief. Celerity and bottomless grief. They already covered this before.
Yeah.
Same things that happen when you're the last person alive, but now it always grants plus 20 handling, plus 20 reload for celerity. Bottomless grief is plus 32 magazine value, not bullets. Remember that. Same thing with Thresh. It's active in PvP now. Somebody I think said this is a typo, but basically it works in all the places it's supposed to now. Right. So were there any major standouts? I know we kind of talked about them. Is there anything you guys read in there were like, woohoo, or man? Anything in there that you guys are excited for next season?
Linear fusions again. I'm excited for that because it's one of my favorite weapons to use. I like I said, I play the game I want to play. So that's how my fantasy of playing Destiny is. So even though it's not been meta, I've been using linear fusions, but it'll be good to know that now they'll be meta. So that stands out for me. I'm buzzing for Vault of Glass. I actually think I was trying to wonder if the picture that they previewed was the cut from Destiny 2's engine or if that was an old PC concept or something. Other than that, I'm excited to take part in the raid, get a team together and all the good stuff. I think on top of that, it's the ongoing discussion for VOG has been some people haven't played it, so it'll be great to finally teach people who haven't. And then somewhere down the line, we've got the crossplay stuff coming up, so that will just blow all the doors wide open as well. I know that wasn't mentioned in the TWAB, but I'm just thinking in terms of teaching people raids and stuff and like meet in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for me, but subsistence is huge. That's a big favorite of mine, especially now for SMG. I'm a big SMG now. Like SMG rarely leaves the kinetics a lot for me lately.
That new one's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I love what is it, Extraordinary Rendition or whatever it is. I'm a huge fan of that. I have another kind of god roll of the Season of Dawning submachine. I forgot the name of that one. I got a good one with
Isn't that Sunset though?
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, it might be. So
because Worthy was the last one that made it because we're keeping the War Mind Cell stuff. So yeah, Dawn is the last one to go.
So we got that. Obviously, Linear Fusion. I'm not going to go ad nauseum with that. Dragonfly. I want to see how that goes in. And I'm actually going to give what you call it sympathetic arse. I'm going to give it some love. I'm going to try it.
You got to let me know if you find the magic with that one.
Yeah, I want to see. I'm going to see what when it comes up again.
I guess I'm more curious if it shows up on different stuff.
Right.
That'll be the one. Yeah.
The new weapons. And then also,
if that's on a breach load, you're going to make people cry. I'm going to laugh my butt off, but people are going to cry.
I'm going to come back to you too if that gun gets released. I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to go, it was you.
It was you.
I mean, Cog does this all the time. I called sunsetting a week before it happened. So he's like, can you stop talking to Bungie for the love of God, please? Just leave them alone. Let them do their thing.
Pidge, they listen to him, man. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm curious to see like the weapons that come out, how many of them, are gonna introduce these perks, and hopefully we'll see if we stick in any new ones. But yeah, they're clearly setting up for the meta. They clearly there's some weapons coming that they got some things in mind, and I'm waiting to see how much they add to the loot pool. That's always my thing. Like, been taken away, but now how much have you been adding? And I don't know if we talked about it a lot. Machine guns,
that was one thing I wanted to say.
Yeah, let's go.
Rares. I completely blew past this in my video I made. I was like, what the hell? We added a rare machine gun and bow to the world loot pool recently, but we didn't have any obtainable linear fusion rifles or breach load grenade launchers and wanted to make sure these archetypes were easily accessible. Why? They added existing unobtainable rare linear fusion and breach grenade launchers to the world loot pool. Why are you putting blues in the... No. I read that and I'm going, it has to be for new players because otherwise I want to jump out a window.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie. I missed the part where it said blue for those drops as well. I think that's just to satisfy free-to-play players, new accounts.
It's gotta be.
Like, so that they at least have an option that will come to them.
Warlock out here, he blew past it. Oh my god.
Blew past it. I love that. I love it.
Oh yeah, you guys are on it. But no, I was reading this. First I read through the TWAB with my chat and I was like, all right, I have some thoughts. And then I went through and recorded and I still was like, I don't get it. So maybe it's new players, I don't know. But I'm like, what? I just like, why are we putting more blues in? I don't want to see blues ever again.
No,
like ever. So why? And I think honestly, it's like, okay, so we need a void machine gun in case you need one. Give me a legendary void machine gun that has more perks and is more fun. This like, I'm never gonna take a blue into a like Grandmaster Nightfall to set. No, that's not gonna happen. So what's the? I don't understand the point. So that's just me.
But you're that brand new account. You've discovered the joys of LFG. Someone in your team says, "Have you got a linear fusion rifle?" And you go, "Let me check my stuff." And then you've got that nice little blue linear fusion or whatever it is. And then
you pull it out. They inspect your inventory and they boot you from the group. I've got my linear fusion equipped. Is this a good one? You've been kicked from the party. Oh
yeah, you've been kicked. Also, want to shout out all 450s, man. I think dust off so far. Shadow price should be lit. Shadow price should be lit now. You should feel good about getting work. So I'm excited, but we
still don't have one. I haven't done a ton of Nightfalls, but I don't have one.
I can't even talk. I don't got a palindrome.
I have a couple palindromes. It took me a long time to get even a palindrome. I still don't have a swarm. Between some of the awesome people in the community, they're like, "Hey, we got to drag you at least through like Arms Dealer, get you some type of swarm because I do need one of those." So
No doubt. We gotta get to these exotics, man.
No, I know mods first. This is again where I was really
Yes.
annoyed. Adept mag, adept targeting. Same reasoning as Iron Banner perks. We were cautious initially, but think it's fine to reduce the penalties on these perks for having them in action. Reduce secondary stat penalty from -20 to -15. Fix adept mag to work on swords. I'll just say the adept counterbalance. Increase recoil direction benefit. By how much? They're not going to tell you. But the biggest thing, I'm like, the Iron Banner, I understand that's not an in-game per se activity. That kind of is, but it's really not. In my opinion, adepts straight up should not have a negative. That's just my opinion. You got to figure out what you're going to do to make an adept do what it's supposed to do, but it should not have a drawback if you go through the effort of either the chest or a grandmaster. I don't care if people can farm them. It takes people like Pijinnn and other people can farm and carry people through them, but the average player, when they do a GM, they're like, "Holy crap, yeah, I got one. Why is this kind of negative on it?" Like that's a feels bad. And so from like a heavy PvE guy, I don't know if you're a trials person as well, but I mean, when you see an adept mod that has a negative, are you okay with it? Do I overreact, or what do you think?
Dude, I don't think you're overreacting, to be honest, but like I just don't use them. I just go, that's got a negative effect. I'm not going to use it. I mean, the big discussion was about like the initial trials weapons. So you asked for my trials player. I do dabble in trials. I'm lucky enough to know folk that can help take me to the lighthouse every now and then, and have worked up the mods and stuff. But see, when it comes to actually slotting them in a weapon, like it comes down to what's the best mods are. So for like PvP, you've still got normal Icarus. Adept Icarus is one of the best ones because it gives you all benefits, and that's what I expect from an adept mod, not detrimental stuff. I mean, that's it. Plain simple. I don't like seeing a negative stat on my weapon, any weapons. I mean, if anything, I would theory craft what would be a potential drop that if it had an adept mod. I'm trying to think of examples. Say a rocket launcher with adept mag or something, or I'm trying to think of an example. It would need to have all the stats in place to accommodate for the detrimental effect, and then even then it would be a very specific set of perks. So I don't know, man. I don't use them. I don't like them.
I agree.
I mean, in that that's if you don't, and you're the one earning them, that's sad. To me, that's just not what.
I agree. It's not worth the effort, especially with this, these end game activities that they're giving these out. It's not something that you look forward to, and thus reduces incentive to do them. You know what I mean? Because you want something shiny, you want something to feel powerful that you completed this hard task. And they gotta fix it. I'm with you. I don't like those negative perks. I don't think you overreacted at all. I don't like those negative perks at all. Like, I don't think they should be in the game, to be honest. Like, what's the purpose? Make the player feel good, or don't do it at all. Like, it's just not about it.
Yeah. The mods that we got for when the Storm came out, the Adept Big Ones mod.
Yeah.
I think that's great. A mod that does multi-functions. That's perfect. That's the direction I'd love to see Adept mods go. It does what we've got, but it does it slightly better. It doesn't have to be broken levels of like insane range boost or stability boost or whatever you're adding to it. It just needs to be a slight bit better, or it does it in a different way. Like, imagine the Adept Fusion where stability says it tightens the spread or something that makes it. I wouldn't say that was game breaking. It just like the counterbalance stock. It specifically says tighter shot spread rather than it just being a stability related thing. That's just a suggestion. I'm no game designer, obviously, but that's how I think the Adept mod should go in the future.
I agree.
Exotics.
Yes.
So, Mida multi-tool. We've seen many requests to switch for this from outlaw to something more useful. One thing we observed with Mida is losing fights to weapons that cause more flinch, so they're changing the catalyst perk from outlaw to no distractions. Thoughts? You intrigued? What do you don't care?
Pijinnn had a lot to say about this.
Pidge?
I said earlier, it's so random, man.
Yeah.
I don't use my multi-tool. I don't know who is in the
Haven't in
meta.
a while.
Scouts aren't really that meta at all. I
Right.
think Outlaw was way better for it because you tend to get precision kills with it.
Right.
And yeah, I guess what they're saying is that it's literally losing fights. But I think the reason it's losing fights is because flinch is so bad in the game
Right.
as it is. So, but I think that's what they said with the buff to no distractions earlier. They're doubling down on this is how much flinch. So now this perk will actually bring you back to that manageable level.
Right.
And I've been there, done that. I've been in plenty of fights where I get flinched and miss my shot. So I can appreciate the perk, but again, on Mida, great. But again, going back to earlier, I don't think no distractions is a perk that I'll choose over other staples at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Antarctic Wildlife Scar Time better DMT. Yeah, Dead Man's Tail is out.
We'll get there in a second. Shout out to Cool Guy, though. Cool Guy had a tweet yesterday. He said, real talk. I see Mida inserting itself in the meta. I really do. Always been a versatile weapon. Now, 0.9 TTK, boosted movement speed, 1 second no distraction activation, 35% flinch reduction, and can have 2 unflinching mods. Radar active while ADS, 100 aim assist. So, I mean, if you list it off like that, it sounds pretty good. Just have to see. I still don't love Scouts, but of Scouts, it's reasonable.
Yeah, it was the premier one. You know what I'm saying? Scout for its time. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, what it is, I think the cell is no distraction in its new form. So we shall see if it really, because I think for Mida to shine, it's got to be able to handle 120s from the distance, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And bother snipers, right?
Yeah.
Right. So if it's doing that, then yeah, it could be effective. And I like Scouts to kind of make a comeback, and I don't think the whole archetype is, but Mida is suited, hopefully to shine. So hopefully, what Cool Guy is saying, it would be nice. I like Mida to come back a little bit, not to get too crazy, but a little bit. So we got the Hawk Moon.
Hawk Moon, increased priority of paracausal charge and paracausal shot buff text. Basically, they just said making sure it's staying on screen so you can see it, so it doesn't drop off. The future, sometime further into season 14. I'm going to go Dead Man's Tale first because I have a weird thought about the other one. With the upcoming nerf to 120 hand cannon range, we expect to see a surge of Dead Man's Tale usage, which is already high. We had enough moving pieces in season 14 that we didn't want to try and squeeze this in at the time, but we have a change ready to go that reins in its ability to challenge sniper rifles, which I'm going to say something in a second, 120 hand cannons and scout rifles, while in hip fire without detracting from the fantasy of the weapon. I am sorry, but if a hip fire, fill in whatever word goes beyond that, hip fire anything, can challenge a sniper rifle, no. That's just no in my book. I'm sorry, but the whole point of a sniper rifle should not be to get messed with by one of those. You should at least have to be down the iron sights to screw with a sniper rifle.
I feel that.
Yeah,
so that's me. Anyway. Thoughts?
Dead Man's Tale did not become a pain point until it started flooding the Trials playlist, I feel. It really got exposed. I think it was a Dead Cliffs weekend, and multiple matches that I played was people running up to the catwalk area, and it was either Lion Rampant Titans or Floating Warlocks, just hovering as high as possible with Dead Man's Tale out. And I just didn't know what to do. Me and my team you would walk out into the lane and you'd be like, oh, they're up there. Dead. You were dead. You're getting team shot. Not to mention that damage ramp up's insane. See by the time they've got like 2 crit taps on you, which ain't hard to hit. You're just wiped, honestly. And don't get me wrong, that's me maybe using a 120 hand cannon still. But it's really hard to fight against on stacks. It becomes really noticeable. The other thing about that conversation, interestingly, and I'm glad it's actually getting changed because as far as I know, console Dead Man's Tale isn't really a pain point on there.
Not
as much at all. And I wonder why that. I think it's because you've got that easier hip fire control on PC, and this thing's got just deadly accuracy.
Yeah.
What's
the role, Pidge? What's the role people are using? If in PvP with Dead Man's, are they using what? Which one?
There's so many. I think top picks for me at least was moving target and Vorpal. I'm still chasing.
Ooh.
I'm chasing a Vorpal Dead Man's Tail because like you cast a
Ooh.
super against a Dead Man's Tail and already
Ooh.
shuts you down.
Yeah,
I think
I
a
can see that.
Vorpal one's just swap mid round, swap when the supers come up. I think you could take people out in 3 or 4 taps, including like Behemoth Titans.
Yeah, I
Uh,
gotta get back in there and get some more better rolls. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been running that
I
to
love the
check
gun.
the seasonal, the chosen seal. I've been getting
Okay.
my scannables in there, so I've got a couple of those.
Okay. Well, now I was curious. I was very curious about that. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I mean, that man's gonna be out here. It's gonna be out here for a while. They said they're gonna look at it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for sure. Based on what you're describing, Pigeon, that sounds pretty scary. And
Yeah,
Charles never jumped in there a while. So yeah, Vorpal, all that stuff, moving target, all that stuff, and then like you said, that damage ramp up. That's
yeah,
what really sets it apart. So
yeah.
yeah, they got to deal with that.
It's like
Mhm.
one or two crits, and you're way into 100 to the head territory, which is mental at like 30, 40 meters.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's great to see a scout rifle shine, but I
Mhm.
think that's just too low risk, high rewards at the moment.
Yeah, that hip.
Um,
So yeah, when they just said, "Hey, we want to rein in the hip fire grip against sniper rifles," I'm like, "Excuse me, that's wrong."
Hip
If you're
fire.
ADS and you put that little like iron sight on them and you hit them, I get that. No
Mhm.
hip fire grip should hit that far. If a sniper's like, I'm thinking of, is it Convergence, the big one, like Pantheon from D1, big
yeah.
ass long sniper. If you're messing with people on that map, stop. Just stop.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the one that I read, and I was probably more confused when done reading it
Mhm.
than when I started.
Good time.
All shotguns. We don't expect the change to the 2 dominant shotguns, Bellwinter's Lie, Astral Horizon, replacing Quick Draw with Surplus, that's the change, and
Mhm.
nerfing Quick Draw to really move the needle on shotgun usage overall in PvP. Shocking. Still going to be there. We agree with some of the comments that weapon usage is not only dependent on tuning, but that map design is also a factor. What? However, we want more weapons to be viable on all maps, and we can achieve this through tuning, giving other special weapons more room to excel. Specifics coming later. All they told me is shotguns are still going to be around and they're looking at special weapons. Like, okay, did you get anything out of this? Oh, hold on. Fusion rifles. As with some other changes, we don't want to bump these up too fast, so we'll follow up if needed. Once again, more nothing. Like, but the shotgun, so the question is like, shotguns are still going to be there. They know quick draws are there. But again, the way the maps are designed, they flat set it. Corridors and things, unless you are on a map like Convergence, of which you still got the higher tier, shotguns, sliding, behemoth shotgun, they're still very, very prevalent. What's this?
Is there no raising my hand? I didn't want to interrupt. I'm being respectful.
I appreciate. What's the?
Yeah. I don't. Maybe I'm looking into this. Maybe I'm too rose-colored glasses here. But I see the word map mentioned twice. Maps. Based on the maps, viable on specifics coming later. Am I
About special
getting
weapon
too,
tuning, not maps.
am I
There's
getting
not a
too
map coming set
excited
next season. No.
that we might get a
No.
map? That we might get some new Crucible
Nope.
maps?
Nope.
No?
No. Don't even
Damn.
hope.
Damn. I was just
Keep your
I thought it would be a
expectations at
thought.
zero. So
I
if
thought it'd be a thought,
keep those
being
expectations at zero. If it goes up from there, you can only win.
Man, I was just
No,
hoping, the
don't
game would
even.
give me
Nope. Don't
a new
even.
map.
Don't think about it. Don't. No. It's not worth your. It's not worth the heartbreak.
Ugh. Because it said they want them to be viable on all maps. You never know.
Yeah, the ones we have, not new ones. Pidge. Thoughts on this whole weird paragraph?
Look, I can hope. I can dream.
As a really, see when now you've read it back slowly enough, like it does sound like a weird paragraph. It's just like
Yeah,
over here.
it's just
They're just, they're, they're
yeah.
just saying, yeah, shotguns are going to be dominant for a bit. Yeah, we're going to try and get everything working nicely. Also, maps have a part to play in these things. I think it's more of a statement than information, isn't it? It's not really given as much to go on.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I'm a chaperone main, so I can't wait to like wreck some people that have been heavily relying on quick draw and stuff for quick shutdowns.
Yeah, Shappy's
But the
nice.
whole quick draw there thing is a conversation its own because I've got a lot of weapons in the game that have quick draw that aren't special weapons and they were pretty viable in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just a statement. They're just kind of saying this is where the game's at. So these shotguns are going to be pretty dominant, by the way. I think they're just saying there'll come a time where they'll try and make it even more balanced if it's still really bad outliers. So we'll see.
Yeah, Chaparral, your Chaparral gonna be nice out here, man. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be running the table. And good
shout
for them.
Shout out to New Rad, who watched
Mm.
somebody with Chaperone in Well of Radiance map somebody from almost 30 meters. Yeah,
Nice.
he showed me
Oh,
the
because
clip
of the
and I
thing.
about lost my
Wow.
mind. I was like, I'm
Wow.
sorry, he just hit that shot?
That's crazy.
That is an insane combination. It's probably not going to come up all that often, but yeah, it was like Well Lunafaction with Chaperone, like almost 26, 27, 30 meters. It was some stupid number. And I was like, wow, that's terrifying. I may as well just shut my game down at that point. They're like, you've been killed by Chaperone from halfway across the map. You've been disconnected. You got killed so hard your internet died.
Yo,
28, 26.5 meters is just dumb. I was like,
that's crazy. That's crazy. Wow.
So there's a tip for you and a good clip. Try and work on getting that to happen.
Yeah.
Get a crazy one.
Mm-hmm.
As for that, we've got, go for the gold. You got Guardian Games, some hot fixes. One thing, the Reactive Pulse mod from Charge with Light may no longer be emitting a burst of damaging arc energy. That's literally what it's supposed to do. That's one of the... So, that's the only thing. You got some hot fixes and other stuff that are in there, which is fine. But that was the only one that's actually functional. Everything else seems to be cosmetic, which is fine. Last thing I wanted to say, obviously I know you still may have other things to do, but time-wise, next week, the bomb's going to drop for whatever season of the Redacted, or season of Redacted. I keep saying of the is not there, just season of Redacted.
Trailer.
There's been a rumor about one thing ripped off the website of a name.
What's going on?
So we may get into some spoiler rumor question mark territory. So if you do want to tune out, you are more than welcome to. But there was a rumor of somebody just basically pulling data off the website.
Mm-hmm.
Season of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spoiler.
Splicer. Now, some people Siva, because all that stuff's been going around on Twitter. Splicers theoretically are fallen scientists. If you go into the lore, that's their main perk of taking technology, trying to figure out a way to fall and use it, but that can be with anything. So it's not specifically Siva related. But Season of the Splicer was the piece of data which now reads as XXXXX. They grayed it out in the text. So it was found and now it's been basically removed. So whether it is that or not, 2 questions. 1, how long do you guys think next season will be? Mostly for Pijinnn, because we've talked about this. And 2, Ikora is kind of coming to next season. Do you have any idea where the season could go story-wise?
As far as season length, this is something we spoke about because the Witch Queen's out in January. Is it January 2022 or a bit further down?
Just 2022 is all we know. It could be January, it could be April. We don't have a firm anything.
So even that as a minimum, that's going to add several weeks to each season that we're due. If we're following the same models last year, which was 4 main seasonal releases after the initial. So time-wise, it could be a very long season. It could be potential 4-month seasons on our hands coming up. As for story, I talk about this a lot with my community when we get the tinfoil hats on or spinfoil hats on. And it's there's no coherency for story. Right now we've got the whole Crow timeline, and I think that's developing really nicely. But everything else is kind of in the background again. The Witch Queen, they started touching on that again last season, the arrival of Shiva Raf's stuff. But it's not really, doesn't feel like it's starting to converge yet. It feels very open. And if the season's going to go into introduce a new conflict, which is great. I mean, that's how you spin out these stories, but it leaves other stuff with open questions, and that's including stuff that's already covered in the lore. So I don't know, man. Could go on for 4 or 5 months, and story-wise, no idea. I mean, we've not really had a closure for this season yet. The last thing that happened was, again, spoiler alert, was the potential betrayal of Zavala, or it looked like the fate betrayal of Kaito and Zavala.
Right.
And it's like, what's going to happen now?
And then obviously
like, what's gonna
the
happen with Poe as
final
well.
Guardian game ceremony is going to be a thing.
Yeah. So, the Guardian games as well. I seen a meme and it was like, the Witch Queen's coming. Guardian games. just for now there.
Oh my god, funny. Yeah, look, I don't know. I think it's definitely gonna be longer. You know what I'm saying? I feel definitely a longer season. Where this is going, I think the problem is we had such we was on such a roll narratively with Battlegrounds to get to this very abrupt stop. And then they just gave us Guardian games and then a whole bunch of Iron Banner. So obviously the Kaido resolution, has to. I'm curious how they transition the end of this season with the the Kaido stuff and Crow and all that. But with this next season stuff that you're spoiling,
Still
if
don't even
that's the
know,
case,
honestly.
if we don't know if it's I don't know. Splice just sound. I don't know why I'm not excited about that name. I don't know why, but it's not. Maybe I just got to see the trailer. I got to see where they're going with it. I'm a big fan of Siva, so I would like it back, but who
Like,
knows?
it doesn't even have to specifically be Siva, even if splicers are there.
True, but I would like Siva back.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair.
I just want Siva back. Like I just think it's cool. It's something sitting in the vault that they can pull out. From what you call it? What is it? The plague? What they call it?
Plague Lance.
Yeah, Plague Lance. All that stuff. Then there was that little what is it? The Forge. Remember the Forge and all of that? Like, I don't know. I mean, that would be probably too much of a rip off of Rise of Iron. But they need to do something. I'm just curious to see cohesively how the Kato thing flows into it. Because I don't want it to be a situation where it's just a complete cutoff from Kato. We don't talk about her no more. New thing, new bad. Kind of thing. I just want some nice, cohesion with this. I want to know where the Kato thing goes, because clearly she's allied with us. Clearly she did not betray us. I don't want her to just disappear like Vintage Destiny, and then we don't see her again. At least know what she's actively doing before we transition into that. So yeah, I'm curious. That's probably my main curiosity. I'm always curious narratively when a season starts, where they go to it. So that's what I'm at. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, if you sit there and you say 5 months, you go May, June, July, August, September. And if you do another 5 months, you go October, November, December, January, February. That at least probably is where I would picture it to be. We've never had a 5-month season. So the question, my main question and wonder is, are they going to try and stick to their standard cadence? We talked about this last time of a 3-month season, normal time frame for things, do their normal stuff, and then do another 3-month season with just a big gap? Or do they stretch something to 5 months so at least whatever narrative they're trying to connect to Witch Queen is somewhat closer to that? And again, next week is going to tell a lot. Somebody was wondering how next week is going to go. I would probably put my money on a teaser on Tuesday, trailer on Wednesday with the season page and everything on Thursday in the TWAB. Like, seems to be what they do.
Yeah.
And
it's the trailer's gonna be lit.
The trailer's going to be lit. Awesome music, just like
awesome
total
music.
hype dropping.
Oh yeah, fog. Oh, that the trailer's gonna be lit.
Vault of Glass returns. We get to see what Ikora's up to.
Yup, Ikora's gonna be voicing it because we seen the actress. Did she record something recently?
I don't know.
I thought they saw for each Vanguard. I saw some video / audio.
Two?
Well, but actually there was one with Nathan affiliated with K, but I don't know how old it was. But
that's probably not recent because he's not
that's
in
probably
it,
not recent.
So.
Yeah, but anyway, long story short, like to see the actress if they we haven't heard from Ikora. What's going on? The trailer's gonna be lit. The excitement's gonna be high. The question is, like you said, how long? It has to be a long season.
I was like, that calendar is going to tell me exactly what they're playing. I've been waiting on that one forever because, what those dates are, we're either going to have, because, I mean, if it's like this season front loaded and then you get your time to work on what you want to, that's not a bad thing overall. It gives you time to play other stuff. There's a lot of other stuff. So, I mean, it's not like May all of a sudden got full. I was like, how did that happen? But it's basically full.
Mhm.
So we'll see how the rest of it goes. And again, it's what their comfort is in letting basically Trials Weekends, occasional Iron Banners, and not much other stuff maintain the game while they work on like the heavy dev of Witch Queen. And I'm just kind of curious what they do. Like that will be a very, very interesting discussion next week. I'm so curious to see that calendar.
Oh yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Faux show. Faux show.
Well, as we wrap up and stealing this man for about 2 hours, I don't have a
Mhm.
whole lot else at this point.
Mhm.
But the big thing I want to do is thank this awesome Scotsman from joining us this morning. Pijinnn, thank you very much for joining us. Awesome to have you on.
Great.
Biggest thing right now is got a dab. That's my chat stuff to screw with me. Gotta have them. Just like what you got going on. What are you working on? What are you planning for next season? What can they find you? What do they see you doing? Is there any cool projects? Because even I know you work on some sound stuff too. So, floor is yours. Let everybody who listens to this thing know what is going on in your world.
Sweet. Well, thanks for having us. First of all, finally, good to sit down. It's been a long time coming. For
Yes.
sure. I've been, I said this a while ago, to be honest, but you guys have a solid schedule. So thanks for accommodating me today and being up
Absolutely.
so bright and early your way. So, for those that haven't checked me out already, I primarily am hanging out on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Pijinnn. I've actually got an announcement coming up in the next hour.
Oh,
You guys might be interested. So,
follow the Twitters or where we looking for
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Follow
Well,
this.
you can check me on Twitter, and it's going to be at Pijinnn with an underscore at the end. Other than that, we're currently pushing for partnership on Twitch.
Yeah,
Hell
you're
yeah.
close. You're
Dude,
We're
you are
close.
like you are
So
there.
close. So close.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
freaking close. Other than that, I'm pretty much. I've got a wee shopping list doing Destiny 2. Like I said, I was theory crafting stuff for the metas. I'm like, I've got a few things in mind I want to nab. So if anyone wants to come hang out, I'll be chasing that stuff, keeping the conversation going. And yeah, you. I, that's all. I'm just here to have a chat. To be honest, I love talking about the game.
Ouija said this. You got to debut your OnlyFans. That's gonna be
Only
the.
fans really hard.
I lost it. Ouija got
I
me.
loved it.
Weekly.
Ouija got
Is
me.
it weekly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Weekly
Yeah.
straight up got me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he got it. He got it.
Is Ouija. He's
Ouija.
he's Glaswegian, so Ouija's
Nice.
like a. Hey, do you know? There's one for your
There we
slang
go.
terms for later. That's a free one. That's free. So Ouija's someone who resides in Glasgow.
Oh, okay.
Sadly, it's not. I'll spoiler. It's not going to be. It's not the only fans, but it's going to be a pretty hype announcement for everyone.
Oh, damn it.
Other than that, yeah, I'll be getting prepped for the season. I'm already scheduling time off to take part in the launch. I'm hyped for potential trailer material next week. I love reacting to those.
Yes.
That's it.
Oh,
Like,
Ouija, not it looks like Weegly.
No, I know.
Ouija. Oh, I was just a little far away. Like the lowercase I, so I said Weegly. Well, now you're Weegly, so you can use that pitch. You can have that one. He got me to bust out. You are now Weegly, so
Yes.
now you're just
We're calling
wiggly,
that.
wiggly. Yeah,
Mhm.
It's a name change coming.
actually Weegly is probably what you say sounding wiggly.
Oh man.
That's
No,
good,
guys,
man.
been an absolute pleasure and buzzing to be on, and keep doing what you're doing is all I'm going to say. I already told you before we came on the day I've been watching / listening since pre-Forsaken.
Wow.
And like I see the episode updates in Spotify, try to jam them on and work. So it's going to be kind of surreal to see Pijinnn episodes if it's released. And I didn't swear once, by the way. I've not
Hey,
sworn.
that is,
bro.
you earned a
That's
swear
true.
jar like free buffer. When you get back to your stream, let it all out, man. Just get in there and start the stream with just like a doo, just that
All
constant.
behaved. I was
Just
like,
a sensor
okay.
tone.
Salute, man. Yeah, man. Again, tremendous to have you on. Love what you do in the community. Love your energy. Hilarious, fun. You know what I mean? Shout out to I forgot your we can talk about your guitar skills. The scales,
sure.
brother.
Yeah.
That cover of that
Sitting here.
Festival of the Lost. I forgot to shout you out on that. You killed that. Love what you're doing, man. And yeah, we're looking forward to this announcement. Sadly, it's not the only fans that the fans really wanted, but
Yeah, I
hopefully
mean,
it's another
you gotta
announcement.
give the fans what they want, and they
Something
want the
that
only
announcement.
fans.
But we get that. But yeah, man, salute to you, man, for sure. This was a lot of fun. No doubt.
Yeah. For me, yeah, seriously, man, it's like I've watched you explode, and your meteoric rise has been awesome to watch. You're pushing for partner. All I can say is just apply however many times it takes, because you are damn sure gonna get it. Twitch seems to be a pain in the butt for everybody that I've ever seen. They're like, gotta go again, gotta go again. You will definitely get that. You 100% deserve it. You've been killing it, man. That is so awesome. And it's just been pleasant to have you on this morning. Had an absolute blast. Like, cheeks are hurting because we're having so much fun. That's always a good episode. So I can't go too wrong with that one. But that being said, Cog, what you got coming up?
What I got going on? Oh yeah, ILO podcast this Sunday. Get some insider talk. He's been ruffling some feathers, so it's actually a good time to get this gentleman on. It is VentureBeat's own Jeff Grubb. So we'll get all the scoops. We'll talk probably some Returnal, get what's going on there, and also some latest games industry stuff, and sales and Steam and all type of stuff going on. So check us out Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, Iron Law Podcast. Check us out. It'll be up there, and we'll have our man Jeff Grubb. Also some special announcements. Be on the lookout for some special announcements on that show as well. Maybe some giveaways. So stay tuned.
Free stuff. I'm there.
Free stuff. Hey, free stuff. Show up, man. You never know.
Free t-shirt. That's all you got to say. Free t-shirt. Everybody will be there.
Everybody will be there. Yeah. So come, show that out, and then yeah, man. And as far as the website, you know what I'm saying, lordsofgaming.net. Check us out there. We'll have some stuff cooking, and of course, the last word is always fun. It's always back by bro E Bontis, having fun with the community. And Paige, man, had a great time, brother. Had a great time. Looking forward to see your growth and everything you got going on. So that's what I got, E. What about you? More Returnal? What you got? More stream? What you got?
Yeah, so I started last night for about 90 minutes. I got one run in. I'm going to be playing as much Returnal. I thought I was going to have to help a friend's parents dig a hole for a pool. So I'm not not just me and a shovel. There was going to be more people and stuff.
It's just you?
Yeah, I'm out. I come back on the show and I'm just like this swole. Like what'd you do? I moved earth. I moved a chunk of earth, so I'm big. No. Yeah, so it's raining like crazy around here, so we'd just be in a swamp, so that's not going to happen. So that being said, probably a lot of Returnal. I am 90 minutes in, and a couple of my friends were literally asking me this morning, is it worth to buy? I'm like, I'm 90 minutes in, and I want to just scream from the rafters, yes. Like, I've heard really good things. The reviews are pretty solid, but honestly, yeah, is Justin here? Yeah, he's the one who needs the flex. That man, I have large legs. His arms are the size of my legs. So, I'm usually of my friends, my legs are pretty strong and thick. That man, beast mode. Doesn't matter. He's like, oh, we have trucks. I squat trucks.
Oh, I see you, Paige. I see that page.
Oh, we got flex. There you go. Yeah. Yesterday was a poll day. No, I'm just kidding. There he is. He's in chat. He's like, oh, did somebody ring? You rang?
You rang. There we go. There you go.
Put them away, Pidge. Yeah. See, too many guns on this podcast. We're gonna get out of control in here. But no, honestly, Returnal so far, I will be streaming probably all weekend that I can, because it looks so far in the one run I had so cool. So come check that one out. I'll be streaming that one. But yeah, finished Ori, a lot of cool stuff. And then, Destiny's around the corner. Yeah, just stay tuned. We'll be breaking down trailer, frame by frame analysis. You know that's going to come. I'm going to be bink. Okay, what's in this frame? We're going to go through it all. So that'll be next week for me. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure, Pidge, to have you on. Thank you very much for also your schedule worked out so we could occupy even more of your time in our usual 2-hour fashion.
Thank you for staying longer, brother.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, I want to talk more Sandbox.
I know,
dude. Yeah. I loved it.
Well, as I said, I got some good news there. So I was able to stay on pretty much. That's nice. That's been just it. I'm glad. I am perfect. I'm glad as well.
Nice.
Thank you, bro.
Awesome. When it could have been cut off time, I was like, oh man, I'm so glad I can still stay on. So yeah.
But we are gonna go raid Silver Spear after this one. She has been killing it on the Conqueror helps right now. She has been blowing up as well. Part of, honestly, even a new group as well. So go give some love over to her. She is the one who dragged me to Conqueror. So her and Save the Blade, he rated us early at the start of the show. So check out both of those. They are awesome people. So we're going to go raid them when we're done. But let's wrap this episode up. It is April 30th. Thank you, chat. You guys have been absolutely amazing. You guys have been awesome. Fire. just blowing up today. Pidge brought the entire coop in here, and you guys have been cracking me up. All the regulars, all the new people, thank you. Follow all of these people. Iron Lords Podcast, Lord Cognito. If you guys are from my world, please go follow Pijinnn. Go, jump in his coop and see what's happening there because you'll have a good time. And for me and Sibontis, if you find the cheetah, it's me.
Yeah.
So for episode number 147, we are not far from 150. We've got an awesome episode next week. We are going to have EK. The man with the golden vault will be on talking about all things that is the new season. So tune in. That's going to be an evening show next week. That'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So, Pidge, you should be asleep by then, but you'll probably be awake. And other than that, for this episode, it has been the last word.